open another window too.
All right, guys, and we are live. First ever live
Looks
stream.
like it.
First ever live stream officially on the channel of Dan the Plastic Man. And today, as you can tell by the topic, we are going to be talking about IBO Season 2. And for that, we've got the entire MS Report team here.
Hello.
We've got Channel 2S, we've got Max Duo, and we've got
It's me.
Shoki.
I'm here. Yay.
So I will say real quick on an unrelated note that no one's going to understand. I do see on the actual stream that it has the new picture up.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It is actually showing the proper thing.
Good.
Here.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, look, people in the chat are already on it. We haven't even started talking yet.
Awesome.
That's
All
not
right,
entirely true.
let me get into... Okay.
Hello, everybody who's watching. Miguel, Steffi, and me,
Hey,
I
Steffi
guess,
made it. Good.
because I'm watching. Oh, I need to tweet out real quick that we're going so that maybe some of my subs will actually jump in.
Oh, crap. I just remembered I had a video that I recorded that I was going to put on my channel that would just be like, hey, if this video is live on my channel, it means I'm over on Dan the Plastic Man's channel. Here's the link to the thing, and I forgot to upload it.
Good job. That's okay. I was going to do the same thing, but I was filming other things and I just didn't get to it.
And I'm trying to pull up from... Oh, come on. I'm in the live control room trying to pull up all the participants. Where's the chat?
We're
Well,
all
so
in there.
Oh, wait a minute.
slightly
Open a new
unrelated
window.
to the entire topic of it, but I liked in this episode when Mika said something I never expected to hear him say, where he just says, "Come at me."
Yes.
I was not expecting that either.
That is
But-
something I'd expect Mika to say, though.
That was funny though. Like in the last two episodes, we've gotten like what seemed like a bunch of character development, or at least we've seen more of Mika in the last two. Actually, with him showing humanity, I guess, versus where he's
I
just
think
been a
the main
robot.
problem of it is I'm used to "come at me" being followed by "bro," so that's what I also auto-completed as when I see it.
Exactly.
Welcome to Evade D. I saw you messaged me last night on the first stream saying you were sorry you missed it, so I'm glad you could make this one. Okay, so all four of us, we have watched the final episode, correct?
Yep.
Of course.
It was a lovely start to my morning on top of the tornado warning.
No, I'm glad you got through that.
Yeah.
So who was it when we were talking yesterday that said they didn't want the episode to be half action and then half time jump? And
No, that was prediction, not I didn't want it to be that way.
Well,
But yeah, that was exactly it.
I left for like 30 seconds.
Well, welcome back.
Well, to be fair,
Yay.
but the time jump is also the only good way to show like a decent wrap up.
Exactly. We knew
Yeah.
it was gonna happen, but we also didn't know what exactly would happen before the time jump, like how
Right.
the actual episode was gonna go for our main.
Well, I think the majority of us have for up to about 10 to 15 episodes assumed Mika was just going to die by the ending, if not just become like a complete vegetable.
Just because
Yeah.
of
I
what
kind of figured that out from like the end of season 1, pretty much.
just because of what Barbatos does.
Yeah.
What Barbatos does to him every time he lets the chains off.
No, not even that entirely. Like just the thing when they were saying like, "Hey, let's make him have a baby so he'll come home." I was like, "Oh, he's gonna die now."
Yep.
Hey, Shoki, you've got another Texan in the chat room.
I see Dave there. What's up, Dave? He knows. He saw how bad it was.
His house. He's flying over a tornado right now.
Yeah, dude. It was. I mean, where we are, just really bad rain for the most part. But like to the north of us, and just kept going from east to northwest. Or sorry, west to northeast. I got my directions backwards. Yeah, just tornado warnings. Couple tornado spotting just north of us. Really bad wind, a little bit of flooding, and then into Louisiana it got even worse. So it was pretty ugly. Just one of those days where you just want clench and hold on to whatever's nearby just in case.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so
back to the actual subject there.
if you guys, before we really dive into the nitty gritty, I just got to ask, if you guys had to give this episode and then the season a letter grade, what would you give?
A
Let's start
letter
with you, Beck.
grade?
Yeah, let's start with you second. If you had to give the episode a letter grade and then you had to give the season a letter grade.
I mean, I'll give the episode an A- because it wasn't like an amazing ending, but it's probably one of the least bad endings I've seen to a Gundam series. Like with almost every series I've seen, like once it gets to the last 3 episodes, I'm just kind of face palming, just like, I really wish they didn't do that. It was so good up until now. Like a lot of those shows, like Double O reached a point where I was just kind of waiting for it to end because it was just getting really dumb. And Unicorn's like second half of episode 7 was really dumb. And like so many of those shows end up kind of shooting themselves in the foot in the last few episodes. And at least IBO didn't do that, so I'm giving it an A.
Yeah, I'd say real quick, like UC, I always kind of really hated the final episodes because they would get to this, well, all the big series, because they would just have a bunch of weird new type magic for the entire episode, basically. Like Victory Gundam was really bizarre.
Yeah,
Woo,
pretty
that
much.
magic.
Welcome to
Hypershock,
the stream, Hypershock. Glad you could make it.
But what would you give the season as a whole as a letter grade there though? Second,
The season as a whole,
without the last episode.
without the last
I
episode,
think it still includes it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
include the last
because
episode.
without the last episode, it would be a lower grade. Because I actually had fairly low hopes for the end of the season up until I saw the actual episode.
No, all 25 episodes. Letter grade on that.
All 25 episodes. Well, the Hashimal arc was awesome. The ending was pretty good, and probably the biggest thing I didn't like about season 2 that wasn't just a general IBO problem was I felt that entire story arc with Aston and Takaki kind of fighting off the, I don't even remember the names of the factions because it was that forgettable of a thing, but that whole arc there was kind of irrelevant other than the fact that Takaki ended up leaving the team. Like,
It
I
pretty
didn't
much
feel like
existed to kill Aston.
basically, yes, it was like 5 episodes of just wasting time pretty much, and I wasn't a fan of that. But aside from that arc, I'd say I'd give it a solid A.
I think Takaki ended up being a plot device more than anything.
Yeah.
Well, he
wasn't a character, he was a
meant
MacGuffin.
nothing until the very ending, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Max, your turn.
So I was wondering how close Seconds was going to match mine, since for the final episode I was going to give it an A- as well, because I was really worried about the final episode. I did not think that they would go like a horrible negative route. And I even said to you guys, like in the chat, like if everybody died and it was like a horrible, depressing, terrible, bad ending, like I would hate the ending, but I would also congratulate them for actually being willing to not do just the happy ending every time. Because, everything and so many things always just works out no matter how little sense it makes. But I was also worried that if they just plain won, it would be done in some stupid way. But I mean, I feel like the whole thing ended up, pretty good. Mika, we all knew was going to die. Akihiro, I kind of, thought didn't quite need to die, but at least he got his revenge at the ending. The only
That's
this
why
isn't
they
quite
kept
this
Yoko
episode,
alive.
but I thought
Yeah.
Hush's death was kind of pointless, but yeah, that was almost this episode. But like I feel mostly happy with it, because at the end of season 1, we're like, yay, they got Cordelia there. Look at all this. Things are going to get better. And season 2 basically starts out and says like, hey, yeah, everything they did made life worse because, there's more child slavery, there's more human debris, there's more child soldiers, blah, blah, blah. And, ultimately, even though Rustall, the worst person to have in this position, ended up the leader, at least, good stuff came about from it all. Plus, if it's a, democracy and he has like a limited term, maybe somebody else gets it later on, because, I mean, he was popular for defeating McGillis after a giant war when all that happened. So I guess that's it. I don't see him as being the permanent leader, and would hopefully not. I honestly was hoping he would get assassinated, but oh well.
Yeah.
But my rating for the actual entire second season is far less kinder than second gave. I actually saw someone else in chat give a similar one to it. Like I would say probably honestly like a C plus. Like I enjoyed it, but every single issue season 1 had was amplified worse and worse. There's too many characters. In the first episode, my first thought at the ending was I don't even remember who we were introduced to. They had like weird time jumps between plots. There were a lot of things that seemed kind of pointless and like they didn't really need to be in there. And even in the ending, when people started dying, a lot of the deaths just kind of seemed like oh well, something just slightly unlucky happened or what. I mean, that's not really a judgment on the season itself, but that of course made it a little negative. But just I don't know, it kind of jumped around really weirdly. It was kind of a huge mess. I still enjoyed it, but I can't give it much more than like probably a C plus, maybe a B minus on a real good day. But I did really like the final episode. I think it tied everything up well.
All right, Shoki, your turn.
Okay, so I'm gonna say the final episode. I'm just gonna give it a solid A. I'm not gonna go plus or minus. I'm gonna go right in the middle of you guys. I thought that
I both said A minus.
I don't know why I was thinking somebody might go A plus, but that's what I'm going. I'm not going too positive. I'm not going too negative on that in the A's. I'm gonna give it a B plus. I'm gonna give it a B plus plus. No, I'm just kidding. So, anyways, give it an A. It did wrap things up. Was not entirely happy with just some of the ways that they kind of just tugged at you a little. Just tiny shreds of hope, and then just okay, it's gonna end like this. Mika's gonna die the way he did. But the thing that probably pissed me off the most, and I get that for the plot it made sense, was when they just basically destroyed Barbatos, ripped its head off, and look, I have the head of the demon, that kind of shit. Sorry, crap. I was that angry about it this morning. But I liked it. The time skip I thought was handled really well, except they didn't tell us how long it had been, but clearly it had been years.
Yeah.
That's the most annoying part, and I'll say this about this entire season. The time skips gave you no concept of how long it's been, not even from the first time skip from season to season. It's just like, okay, it's been X amount of time. You want to tell us what that was so maybe we can get a grasp on what happened? And I will say this, since, basically the episode ended well. Needless deaths in the last couple episodes, like we're talking about, and people in the chat have been saying here. At least last episode when Hush died, I think that was kind of pointless and kind of reversed. Like, for somebody who was trying to keep up to Mikazuki, I think it would have been better off if he saved Mikazuki and died versus he died and Mikazuki had to come sort of save him. As like, it just made him look like he had no character development, no strength at all of his own. That it was all
he
because
had
of me.
development. He just looked like he had no pilot development because
Yeah.
they're like, "Hey, watch out!" and he's like, "What? Oh no!" And then 10 seconds after the warning dies from a head-on attack.
An axe to the belly.
There's a lot I could say about that.
Yeah, well, we got plenty of time.
Oh yeah.
But the fact that they have wasted every new good suit that they teased or showed being awesome early on really made me mad. But
that's
that
in general, though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into. This season, I'm going to rate the season at about, because of the ups and downs and the rushed nature, I'm actually going to give the season maybe a B minus, almost a C, because it almost had seed levels of jumping around, but without 52 episodes to do it. So you're going from place to place to place with no concept of time. And how many times are we going to go back and forth between Earth and Mars and make it look like it's nothing when in fact we know it takes months? Just back and forth, back and forth. Oh no, okay, so we made it back to Mars. Wait, the only way we can survive is if we make it back to Earth, because that's the only way. Why did you bother leaving Earth?
I will give a quick note on that. I think I mentioned to you guys there were all those like tech guides and whatnot. Yeah. And I think that those guides specifically mention like how long it takes to get there, and something about the setup like Yallerhorn had and whatnot made it so you could do it faster. I mean, it still took a long time, but just not the absurd amount of time that it is for real.
It was the route, because remember they said they took the turbines route, which is longer but more secretive, and you can't find it for the most part. But yeah, that's the part that bothered me the most. The 2 to 3 episode storylines, and then moving on and just pretending that never happened. It almost went with like Doctor Who season 6 level of confusing, like, what does all of this mean? And then we get to the last 2 episodes and try to wrap it all up in a meaningful way. And that's why I give the season as a whole just a meh. And I give the last episode, the way it ended, you get to see character development with the time skip, with everybody basically taking their place. And I'm going to say this, I thought one of the best moments was right at the end of the conference when they're standing in the hall. Kudelia Rustall, Julieta, and Eugene. And I'm just sitting there like, how is Eugene not killing this person? It's like, just do it. Just do it. Come on. And then they kept showing her Tekadon earrings, and I'm like, come on, just kill him right now. It'll be fine. He's already signed the paper. Just kill him now.
Yeah.
It's like, just give us that. But yeah, I think the finale got the best vote because they killed Eok finally. finally payoff for everything the moron did. And Akahiro basically coming back from near death with whatever was left behind of Gujin.
Here was Eok.
Yeah, he's like, it's you. Oh my god. Now, if
somehow
Gujin,
with a quarter of Gujion remaining, his scissor shield somehow managed to remain completely functional and intact despite having many moving parts.
But did you see his muscles?
his muscles did
Yes,
well.
but still, like
muscles
that
were-
thing, with all the moving parts on that and with how smashed up the rest of Gujion is, that shield should have been shot way before then.
But I bet it was behind him realistically when the ever-present plot armor killer came in. It's like I think that's realistically what Dainsleif means is plot armor killer. It's like, oh, you thought you were safe because of the plot? No, we have Dainsleif. Oh, you're the main antagonist? Dainsleif. Oh, you're everybody's favorite character and one of the coolest Gundams? Dainsleif. It's like, oh, you thought you were gonna change all of Yellowhorn? Dainsleif. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm tired of that. That's the one main thing that sunk it a little bit for me. But all right, Dan, I believe it's your turn.
Mm-hmm. Episode, I'm going to give it a B- because it was, while it was a quote-unquote good ending in the fact that, those who needed to survive survived, we did have the fact that Rustall became a leader. He eliminated the Council of Gjallarhorn, but Sunrise did not take the ballsy move. So I'm going to give them a B- for that. We've talked about what would happen if they did actually go something really dark for the ending of the series, and which could have led into, as I believe Max was saying, could have led into maybe an OVA movie a few years down the line for some final, not restitution, but
Comeuppance.
yeah, comeuppance. That's a good one. Comeuppance.
Yeah.
My idea was that Gaelio would basically, get pissed off about all the corruption that, was still used and decided to try to go ahead and do some kind of revolution of his own. Not to the same level, but at least, get rid of Rustall.
Yeah, I thought maybe this was my big hope back in the McGillis Farid episode. I was hoping that in that moment, Gaelio went, you know what? He's right. This is wrong. And he would have gone up to the bridge and taken care of Rustall himself. Now,
And
I
then
was
all of a
hoping
sudden,
that McGillis would just straight up shoot Rustall when the door opened and like die right afterwards or something. That's what I was really expecting.
Yeah, that's what we all wanted, but of course Gaelio had to get in there and stop him, if he even would have made it that far.
With the Vidar mask that he had on only because plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put it back on for no reason.
And how did he end up in that wheelchair?
Yeah, the thing that nobody bothers with. Now we're gonna assume that there was damage that we just didn't see, that floating in would help.
I saw like a screenshot someone took of like the scene where he got shot, and I think apparently like because he was shot in like the top of the head, and you see it for like a split second, but it like kind of snapped his neck back a bit, like broken something in his neck. Supposedly, from what I saw.
Yeah. My initial thought, Dan had mentioned it earlier today. We were trying not to talk about it too much, but I kind of, said my idea on it real briefly was maybe, when he, said, use everything Ein, like maybe it damaged him enough that he was able to move in 0G, but he couldn't like when there was gravity, but I actually like that idea better, that maybe it damaged his spine.
Yeah, that had to have been something along those lines that, now we always saw him being able to walk around and move around the ship, but, it is low gravity. It's not zero, but it's low gravity. So maybe he always had an issue, but we never saw him outside of the suit, outside of a spaceship. So maybe it's that he really couldn't walk, and now that he's on Earth,
My assumption also for a while was that his, like what he was wearing in the mask, like had something that helped him. Like, I think we initially thought that, like in the very, very beginning, maybe, this is some kind of, hookup that enables him to move. Like he's got his own like little LA Vidna system set up or whatever.
Yeah. David, yeah, because I thought that, because I talked about that maybe the helmet was part of the suit integrated into why his body could function. If theoretically he should have been dead, so it would make sense. And then it just, what the heck. Nike 629 brought up a good point, but we'll get to it later about the berserk mode.
Because I
I
still
think
need to
that
get my
was
grade
more
for
of
the
a
season
last-minute
itself.
thing.
Yeah, so I said we'll
that's
bring it up
more of
later.
a last-minute thing, though.
Yeah. Go ahead and give your grade for the season, Dan.
I'm actually going to be the harshest out of all of us, and at
Uh-oh.
best, I'm going to give season 2 a D+.
Wow.
That's pretty bad.
I'm still gonna criticize your. I've mentioned this in the chat before, but you were mostly fine with it until the turbines died. Because I remember like you and Shoki both, like most anytime I criticize stuff like early on, it was still basically no, it's not that bad, it's good.
But at the same time, we can also change our minds, and this is to look at the entire season. So all day I've been looking back at what we've said, how the season has gone, and the problems of season 1. While I loved season 1 because apart from a couple protagonist deaths, it did end on a very good note.
Yes.
This season was a cluster. It was too rushed. I basically hated all the arcs except for the Hashmal arc, because that is, like Second was saying, that's probably one of the most complete arcs we've got. But at the same time, they wasted it because we only had the one mobile armor. We had no others.
Yeah.
Every villain that we had other than Rustle, who becomes, chairman of Earth, is forgettable. Nobody can be remembered.
That's not true. You still hate the bearded man.
The guy who pilots the gay rail?
Yeah, we don't need his name, but you still hated that guy.
Most villains from
Yeah,
IBO were like that, though.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
it didn't have. I felt that there was a lot of cohesion problems, especially with what we were talking about briefly in the test stream last night, where Max, you told us that the designer of Bale didn't even know that suit was going to belong to McGillis.
Yeah.
When it was first designed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What I've often felt about this is that IBO really could have used, like, the story itself wasn't terrible. I just think it needed, like, half the number of mobile suits and, like, maybe 3/4 the number of characters. It really did. Just because there was too many, like, introduce character, drop him, introduce another character, drop him, introduce another character, drop them, just over and over again.
10 pounds of story in a 5-pound bag when you really needed 50. I feel you could have done with 50 episodes per season.
Yeah. Well, I told you guys in the chat last weekend, I think it was, that realistically what they really should have done with this was they should have focused the second season on the mobile armor and been like, made that a whole thing, finding new mobile armors, almost not really going monster of the week, but deal with the mobile armor uprising again by accident because people are stupid. But they left that in the dust and said, forget it. And then they could have done a third season, even at this many episodes, and then dealt with the Yellowhorn Civil War, McGillis trying to have his final cake and eat it too. But
my hope was always that the mobile armors would stop the big war at the ending somehow. Like, oh no, we have to fight against this now. And then we can get a season 3.
Well, remember, McGillis disappeared whenever they got back to Mars, and of course we find out he was just going to find that weirdo from the first season. But I was hoping that maybe that the people he left on Mars to look up or to keep searching for mobile armors found more mobile armors and found a way to use them to our abilities. So in the middle of Tekadon being beaten down, we suddenly have mobile armors coming in programmed to basically attack Yellowhorn energy signatures. Well, I was thinking if they're reprogrammed instead of just attacking anything and everything.
I think they might have needed a long amount of time to have figured that out, though.
Yeah, but look how much.
As far as we know, they never did that back in the war.
Yeah, you're right, but that was also 300 years ago.
when they were all buried after being defeated. So when they would awaken, it would still be a variation on a theme because they're doomsday weapons. So
Their
Which
technology got worse after those 300 years, and a lot of the source material from Bandivo, like a lot of the high tech stuff, was banned by Gjallarhorn.
or usurped.
No, it was
Oh,
outright
that
banned.
reminds me of that stupid beam cannon shot on Ride.
Yes.
Where
Where
it's like
just basically the nano laminate armor protected him.
Yeah, where he's got his shield hanging off his left arm, and he tries to take the brunt of the shot with his chest and winds up wiping out the farm behind him.
Yep.
I mean, if he used the shield, the beam still would have bounced off him, but
Yeah.
The
I think
collateral
actually,
probably wouldn't have been nearly as much.
I do think
it would have been
back,
about
like
the same.
I remember in that episode, part of what actually damaged him, not the town behind him, obviously, because it went out behind him. But part of what damaged him was his beam rifle, or not his rifle, his gun exploded.
Sorry, guys. I had to laugh at what Nike said in the
Cleveland.
comments. Yes. The Cleveland thing. No, 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 no.
Yes.
Someone needs to GIF that hard. GIF it so hard, please, with the audio. Oh, my God.
I did
That
like
was-
as well when Iuk died, when Akihiro said that line about, like, he's like, hey, good things do come to those that stay alive long enough.
Yeah, if you live long
He
enough,
seems
yes.
so happy.
Yes, because, well, he killed his woman before he figured out that she didn't want to hug him. What was it? Strangle him. Didn't want to strangle him. And then took away, well, he didn't take away his brother, but by, association, his little brother was killed also by the same breed of guys. But yeah, it's just they didn't get enough revenge on the people who needed it. And then, like you guys, they put Rustall in the ultimate level of leadership. But I get he did the things that McGillis ultimately wanted to do. But that change of character made no sense. Like,
No, it made zero sense.
because for somebody who believed in power and everything, but for him to come through, wipe out Tekkanon, wipe out McGillis, claim everybody was criminals, even though he knows exactly why they were doing what they were doing, and then to turn around and end up doing all the things that McGillis essentially wanted,
Well, no,
made no sense.
McGillis was the one that believed in power.
He believed
Yeah.
in using power to change things instead of just abusing that
McGillis
power.
believed that the powerful should rule against everyone else.
Yeah, that's
Rustall
what.
was just against McGillis.
Well, he was
Like
trying to get.
Rustall did terrible things, yes, but he was just opposed to McGillis. McGillis was the one that the powerful should rule over the weak. Like, he was the one that had the idea of the sort of like dictatorship meritocracy.
Because of being
yeah.
able to access Bale, he figured that he was like the next Agnika Kairu who was going to reform Gjallarhorn into this ultimate dictatorship where the strong rule over the weak.
But is that what he really wanted? Because I thought, at least from my point of view, he basically wanted to undo all the corruption that Gjallarhorn has built over 300 years, raising themselves up, giving themselves all of the power to control anything and everything that happens. Whereas if he got rid of all that corruption, rebuilt Gjallarhorn into something that was more for the people, because that was his thing. He came from he came from the
literally
little
said
boy
the strong
toy.
should rule.
Well, he thought that the only way to get
He said
power
the
was to
7
have
stars were
ultimate
weak.
power. The 7 stars were weak, most of
Yeah,
them, anyways.
Yeah, he was saying that they were weak, and he wanted the strong to replace them.
Well, that's because they all basically got fat off of abusing power and money. He only used his power to get to the top, and what he wanted to do from the top was get rid of the people who weren't really ruling and were taking advantage.
A Miliardo wannabe. That's what Nike is saying in the chat. But
Yeah,
at the same
I can see that.
I remember when I first saw him in season 1, and I thought he was going to be very Trey's-like, but he certainly is not that. Almost the one who's Trey's-like was Rustall.
Yeah, I was about to say that. They did make him very trades-like, very smooth.
I can see that comparison.
But in most aspects, yeah, definitely. Because
But
I think
Trace was also in love with human battle
yes,
and losers.
I can't think here. I was thinking that Rustall was basically going to be like the chairman from Seed Destiny, who was all nice and whatever, and then pulling everything behind the scenes. And he wanted to wipe everyone else out, but ends up that Rustall didn't want that. He just really wanted to wipe out his opposition, but did it so badly. It's like there was no reason for him to chase them to Mars. It's not like they could rebuild on Mars. He cut everything off. It's like he left them no anything. It's like the finishing move wasn't really purposeful.
Well, he didn't want them
except
to
for
come back later.
yeah, but he had already cut off. They had cut all their ties, other than like they lost. I think they lost their mine. They lost all of their financial backing because when they landed on Mars, they're like, okay, we got all this help. Wait a minute, where did all our help go? So he had already taken care of anyone and everyone who was backing him, except for their direct friends who couldn't realistically help them. So actually physically wiping them out instead of just leaving them alone. I mean, I get that you couldn't leave your
Well, I
enemy.
mean, they
Left them with
started the
no.
war. He was going to finish it. He wanted to say, no one should ever do this again. He was trying to make an example. Like when
Yeah.
Orga tried to make a deal, he said, nope, we need a scapegoat. We need to make an
Yeah.
example out of you so no one will ever do this again.
Yeah. Which I hope somebody does it again and ends up killing him anyways.
Well,
Like,
I
wait a
was
minute.
I was I
Well,
was
we have
thinking
Ride.
earlier, like I would love if they would make a movie and have in the movie somehow like Rustle gets assassinated or dies in something. I mean, it would ultimately probably be like some kind of pointless thing, but just to see him die, much like how I enjoyed watching Noblest die on the toilet.
Thank God. Hold on. First of all, what have I been saying to you guys for a couple of weeks? Game of Orphans. They killed that bad guy on the toilet. They went total Game of Thrones on that. Come on.
Yeah, but it took them like 35 episodes to kill more than one notable character.
Yes, that's true. But when they finally started killing him off, nobody really survived except for people who were all background characters. Very few main characters even survived at all. But yeah, I thought that as soon as they said he was going to kill, or as soon as they showed he was going to die on the toilet, I was like, wow. Now, if it was Rustall dying on the toilet, that it might have been slightly unceremonious, but that definitely would have been in lines with Game of Thrones. Because for the person pulling all the scenes, screwing everyone over, killing everyone, all the good guys, no matter where they turn, if they really wanted to go there and make him very Tywin Lannister, that would have been the best way to go. Kill him on the toilet. Noblest, yeah, he definitely needed to die because he should have died halfway through the season when he was already more or less betraying them.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I'm trying to remember because wasn't it about halfway through the season we found out he was working with Rustall?
No, that was actually only a few episodes ago. But before that, wasn't he working with the Terra Noblis or Terra? What were they called? That organization that was being the terrorist group at the beginning. I forgot what they were, but he was working with them originally. I thought
The pirates.
no, not the pirates. The other guys who were basically saying that Mars needed to be free, so they were terrorizing everybody. I can't remember, but yeah, see, that's the problem with the plot lines in this show. They from not even that many episodes, we've already forgotten the stuff that really happened at the beginning. So they were dealing with the pirates, but then they were dealing with the domestic terrorism that was trying to, do whatever they were doing.
I remember the terrorism. I don't remember them ever actually naming anyone. They just kind of said, "Yep, terrorists are doing things," and then they
because that led to that war on Earth that wound up having Tekadon's Earth branch expelled.
Yes, yeah, that was all really. Whether that was all Rustall, at least it was all Gjallarhorn, finagled. Oh yeah,
no,
and that's
when you're talking about the terrorist thing, I thought you were talking about the things where they're blowing stuff up on
Mars. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're blowing up the cars and Christ and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. But they were terrorists something or other, but I can't remember what the name was.
I didn't remember them actually getting a name. I just remember it being like, "Yep, terrorists are doing stuff," and then they just kind of went on and did their own thing.
No, yeah. they had a name, but I forgot what it was. But I thought he was involved along with the guy that I think he actually the one that Mikazuki shot in the office. Or was that first season? I'm just confusing things. Maybe that was the first season when they were still coming
No,
up.
Mika did shoot somebody in the office in the second season. It was a it was another business partner.
Them? Yeah. It wasn't that guy who betrayed them on Earth. That was because he was killed by
Takaki.
Takaki, yeah. That's why Takaki left, yeah. But you guys saw that basically, was it Raido who showed up dressed essentially like Orga to kill Noblest?
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody else has said, I saw this comment on Facebook. It's like, hey, look, Raido's in the cosplay. He's dressing up like Orga now. which I'm okay with, you know. So they kind of left that open, and you know, I hate I hate to think that they would do a really bad OVA that have to deal with all that, you know. But for some reason, they left that door slightly open.
Yeah, I'd like to see a movie fix some stuff, but Gundam doesn't have the best time with movies all the time.
Movies are not really great about fixing things so much as they can slightly confuse them and or finish it at least.
Or just make them worse.
Well, usually movies are
That's
just
what
kind
stuff.
of like, here's like 10 new kits we can sell, and a very quick, like, 80-minute story we threw together.
Yeah. Oh, it was Nike and probably a couple other people in the chat brought something up. Bile at the end basically being restored and put back in its vault.
It is a Gallahorn treasure, first and foremost.
I don't think it was also destroyed that huge amount, that much either. Like, it was messed up some, but it wasn't like it was, obliterated like, say, Lupus Rex.
Yeah,
It was
No,
almost untouched, really.
It was damaged pretty good, at least to the final part where they clashed.
Well,
and
I mean,
got him.
it was damaged, but it wasn't torn to shreds.
No,
No,
it was
not
not
really.
beheaded.
No, it was
Certainly
lost
wasn't.
all the arms. Yeah.
Yeah, it was mostly just a wrecked warrior. It was not something that was just completely decimated.
Yeah. See, that's what's so bad. Like, we all kind of hoped that maybe Barbatos would survive a little bit, and maybe that Mika's soul would have been basically downloaded into it at some point. Maybe it could have been.
That's what I was
discovered
kind of
later
thinking
on.
at first, yeah.
But no, just completely destroyed and probably run through a crusher so that nobody would ever have it again. Because what are the odds that Yellowhorn kept it and would keep it in their own vault or something? You know, are they going to bother bringing in old damaged Gundam frames just to make sure they have them?
Well, I mean, all they would, at least
I mean,
from
they
what I
could.
remember reading of like the tech stuff, just unhooking Mika would basically have him be gone from it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's dead, period. Yeah, though he died in it.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
though it said that, well, wasn't there something that said that the AV system would keep the person going even if they were essentially dead?
Yeah, as long as they were hooked
Yeah,
up
that's what
to
kept
it.
him going for like the last 3 minutes. He was dead like way before he came up to Julieta.
Yeah, it was basically Barbatos pushing him forward.
Yeah, but like as soon as he's like unhooked from it, he's gonna be gone. Like it's not gonna like pump everything back into him really.
No,
I think
no.
like in the case of like the stuff with Ein, they basically had it hooked up to like his spine and brain with all the fluid around, so they were able to make more of like a model off of that or something that they ran stuff through or whatever.
Yeah, I think essentially what they did with Ein, I guess they sort of hinted at this, was he became the intermediary system between the pilot and the true AV system of the thing. So it absorbed the damage, but allowed the full on
Well,
berserk mode.
they didn't really hint it; they just kind of outright said it, but they didn't really
Yeah.
mention the berserk thing.
Yeah, yeah, that was the one thing. It's like the only Gundam we saw truly go into full on berserk mode was
Barbatos.
Barbatos. But
I really wanted to see what Gujin and Flauros could do if they were unchained.
I think Gujin with Akihiro at it, just fully letting go, even though they couldn't have due to the way their system was versus Mikazuki's. But it would have been amazing. Like, it would have just destroyed everything on the battlefield. Like,
Yeah,
as soon as
I don't think they could have. Yeah.
yeah, I thought he was like truly going to die before going full berserk mode there, and then like they wreck everything. The stupid Nine Slaves do their thing, and then he goes into berserk mode. Are you kidding me? Like, and then that tail comes up, and it just looks wicked in the smoke, and I'm like, okay, everyone's dead.
I don't
but
think
wow.
he would ever start a battle in that, considering the price that he has to pay for. Like, he has to make sure he can stay there throughout the battle and take care of people and whatnot, because he wasn't there solely to kill people. He had to make sure everybody was able to escape. And if he just kind of gave everything, I don't think he would be conscious enough to think like, okay, well, let's take care of my friends. I think he would just kill whatever.
Yeah, but I think
How about that?
Go ahead.
How about that sadistic grin of his after he unchained Barbatos?
Oh yeah, that was beautiful. That was Barbatos feeding back into him. So that was truly the demon. That dude's reaction right before he was killed was amazing. Like, as soon as he comes up out of the smoke, like, this is a true demon or whatever he said. I was like, yeah. It's like, this is what happens. You shouldn't have done what you did, But why does it take like that level of destruction? It's like if he had just let it out slightly earlier. Actually, if he was unchained when it happened, he wouldn't have even been hit with the Dying Slaves. You know.
But yet
He could-
again, he may have Mika may be a sociopath, but he's also not a stupid sociopath. He's not going to do something he doesn't have to, because I think he might actually have a slight fear of unchaining Barbatos.
Yeah, but you got to remember
I
that
think that would entirely be a thing of like the next time I do this, I might die, and then how can I, how can I do anything for anyone if I'm dead, rather than it just being like, oh, I'm too scared to die. Like I don't think he was ever worried about that.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, he said he would, his life wasn't even his. His life belonged to Orga. Because he's the one
he
who
said
gave
that
him
right
his
up
life.
to the end.
Yeah, he said that all the way up to the end, that his life belonged to Orga. And so he would give his life, even though he technically had something to fight for, not necessarily live for, because I think he went into that final battle. There's no way they knew they were going to live. There's no way, especially after the other guys left and it was just the two Gundams. He knew, at that point, he already knew what he could do to end the battle,
Yeah.
but he had to keep
remember
pushing
Orga's
it.
final thing was for like, Tekadon to press on. So what better way than Mika making sure that as many people as possible?
Yeah, but he could have just gone full Unchained, wiped the battlefield, and then stood there and waited. I mean, yeah, he would have definitely taken on some kind of maybe
No,
more
he would have been
paralyzation or
calm.
something. Yeah.
I don't think this was a thing of like, oh, I'm too scared or anything like that. I think he literally was worried that he could not actually take care of his friends if he just gave in to nothing but that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I still would have liked to seen Gujin really go all out, because with that
I don't
giant
think Akihiro could have handled it though.
no, he couldn't have. He would have died definitely, especially considering he only had 2 plugs versus Mika's 3. Which is the only reason I think he could do it, why the system wasn't getting in the way for him. But that's just, it would have been awesome. Like, the first time we saw Akihiro really rage, though, when he took out Masa, or Mosa, whatever you want to say his name is, and you see those just green demon eyes coming through the smoke, and then just that hulking frame standing over him with the scissors. That's what we needed a little bit more in this. Now, the fact that they did the Gundam thing right before that final battle, like, the pilot name, Gundam name, it's like,
yeah, it was a little weird.
This was unnecessary. It's not like you're launching into battle. You've been in battle for 2 hours, 3 hours.
I think they've never actually done it before with those two machines, though.
They never have.
No, they didn't. But just, I saw that, and that was cringeworthy to me versus everything else that happened. I was like, that's
I did
not.
actually want to say another thing on the Dying Slaves. I forgot about it, and they came back. Was when you were saying the thing about you think he could have avoided it. I think technically in that scene they were so confused as to why everybody just completely ran away that they probably were just kind of staring after them and not really paying attention. Because my complaints on that scene was like, how did they accurately, shoot from so high up? And it's like, well, I guess they really weren't moving when we saw that happen. So
they were shooting like 50 bullets at them. They didn't have to be accurate.
Yeah. But still, it's just like, okay, well, they're also not moving at all. So
So they waited until they weren't moving. Yeah. But then the fact that the Dying Slave 1 is basically the ultimate sniper weapon, plus with the fact that they're firing it into the atmosphere, is going to add a much bigger hit when it hits with the gravity. It just,
it's just too fast.
It was too fast.
They had to have been looking for it, and why would they be looking straight up?
They would have never guessed that it was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If they were fighting like 50 or 60 graves on the ground or whatever, and those graves retreat, their first instinct is going to be, oh, I'm going to look up straight in the sky and see a bunch of javelins railing down on me. They would.
You kind of broke up second.
He turned into a robot.
Yeah, he went all robot.
Yeah, my connection's kind of shit. But basically, what I was saying there was that if they're fighting like a bunch of ground mobile suits, they're not going to like look up if those mobile suits retreat. They're going to be looking at them, wondering why they're retreating.
Well, the one thing I thought, they definitely looked at him and went, okay, they're leaving because they know they don't need the numbers anymore. There's only 2 of us left. So whatever, they can just take their time. But that's what they thought. They strategically thought about it and went, okay, this is why they're leaving. It wasn't just what the heck's going on, They thought the reason was that, and of course they should have thought, oh yeah, if anything else changes and a battlefield clears, there should be large pointy things firing at us, because it's happened 6 times already.
Well, they're not really strategic thinkers.
Yeah, but it's just like, first of all, just like I said, dude, the Dying Slave is the ultimate plot armor killer. It's like,
Well, you also have to think that shooting it down through the atmosphere had never happened before. I mean, they're not super robot, heroes that are, ultimate gods of battle. they're not very smart, and they were confused as to why everyone was running away.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Steffi just said I want a Dying Slave option set. I think everybody does.
Yes, I do too. They need to do one more option set with the Dying Slave and that tall shield that the new Grays type uses.
Yes. Well, actually, just give us the whole Dying Slave Grays, just the whole thing, I
remember actually
region
the new Grays. Like there was actually a thing somewhere that also said those ones were like 3-4 meters taller or something too.
Yeah, they would have to be for carrying that much extra weight. They need
so it wasn't even just like here's some new weapons. It was like here's a new Grays.
Yes, we need.
So they're actually like a different mobile suit.
They're probably based off of the. Gray's Eye, considering how big it is. Well, they said if it's 3 or 4 meters taller. Yeah, I mean, if it's taller, beefier, it doesn't have to be obviously AV powered, but everything about this. As soon as they brought in the Dying Slave as a thing, when EOC finally used it the first time and then framed, and then they did the same thing essentially again versus Gillis. Oh look, they have one Dying Slave. They fired it at us. Let's use all of our 75 Dying Slaves at them.
Yeah, that was always my kind of thing of like, what in the world? I assume after that they would have like planted more and been like, look, they had more of them.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, here's our justification. They fired one bullet at us. We can just do everything. It's like we can now use these illegal weapons because they used them. I don't think that's how it works.
They did send all the media away from the final battle, which I thought was kind of funny because it's like, at least in the real world, you can't be like, hey, go away, media, and then the media actually listen.
Yeah,
they would find a way to record it and watch it and stuff.
That's what I think everybody might have slightly hoped in the back of their minds that maybe there was that one team who was still showing everything, kind of in 00 when you had that one media team that was really showing what was happening on the battlefield.
Yeah.
If there had been somebody like that, but they would have probably had to been established at some point that, oh look, here's another character who just happened to be a media person, but because more characters. I think you mentioned it earlier, Max. The reason Dan sort of turned on the season a little bit, and it probably did for all of us, though. As soon as they did that to the Turbines, and that was bad enough, but then to follow it the next week by killing Laughter, it's like, why? What did we do to you? Why do you got to do this to us? It's like, okay, you already took him out of the battlefield, everything. Let's just make it worse. And then, of course, the next episode, Vengeance, because necessary. I don't even remember that guy's name. Jasly, I guess, was his name.
Yeah, Jasly, and the quote unquote vengeance against him was some of the weakest weak sauce vengeance I've ever seen in my life.
That really was.
Mika smashed him.
2 minutes.
I was honestly expecting Akihiro to take him out in that scene. I really was.
We were all hoping, but then of course Mika beat him to it. I think he was pissed off at that a little bit.
He probably wanted to, but Mika was just too fast.
Yeah, Mika is significantly faster, but if you're standing in the background just shooting 4 cannons, it's going to take you a minute to get anywhere else. The fact that
of him shooting 4 cannons, I was kind of surprised in the last episode that Gujin Rebake Full City was just wielding 1 axe. I was like, why is he not using more weapons?
Because they didn't have any more. They used them all.
Remember how big they were surrounded by weapons.
Yeah, but they could have. Yeah, you're right. He could have picked up more weapons, just like Mika did when he pulled. Did he pull that axe?
Like a raised axe in each hand.
Yeah.
I think at the ending of season 1, he one of his arms had been cut off, and he was using that as a weapon.
I thought that's what he did. Like when he reached back and grabbed the scissors, I thought he grabbed an arm. I was looking at the animation. I was like, is he actually going to kill Eok with one of his own arms? Because that would be amazing. But he grabbed the
scissors him somehow with one of Eok's arms.
Yeah, but then to use
them were cut off.
By the way, how did he operate the scissors with only one arm? Was he like squeezing it against?
No, he still had his second arm.
One of his backup arms.
Right shoulder.
Oh, did he have one of the spare arms? I must have missed that in all that speedy animation.
Before that, like he only had one arm, but like when he was squeezing him, the one of the sub arms was out from his right shoulder.
Okay, so that makes more sense because I clearly missed that. But yeah, I mean, it was a sad but good end. Oh, okay. Can we talk about the child of the AV system?
Talk about it. I mean, it's there.
Yeah, but yeah, that's I made the joke last night in the live stream. Child of the AV system because Mika had to be hooked up for that to happen.
Yeah, Akatsuki wasn't born with inside a Barbatos.
No, but that would have been funny.
And it was Mika
but-
that was the father, not Barbados.
Yeah, but the fact that like, okay, could they make him? It's like just go ahead and dye his hair black. He's just going to be a clone of his dad. You know.
I was kind of expecting them at the end to like hint to him having like some kind of ability-ish thing, maybe. Like I kept watching, expecting him to like do something that would like hint at him having some ability that he gained from Mika having been hooked up to the AV system for so long.
They should have had him just slam his face into a bowl of those like Mars dates.
Yes.
That would have been awesome, actually.
I know the comments of the big hands. So I'm just like, okay, I get that was a thing, but that's just it's only slightly awkward when you think about it. But the fact that the two women he loves are talking about the big hands, just like his dad, it's like, oh no, why no? Anyways, we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, you're right. Having some kind of hidden ability due to the nanites or nanobots or whatever were in the system to make the AV work. You think that maybe might have some kind of weird side effect on the kid later on down the line.
Well, we'll probably
And
never
you just
find
broke
out.
up.
Yeah, we'll never find out. Yeah, because let's go full on age and we'll skip 15 years and then he'll get into his dad's Gundam. No, wait.
Not going to happen.
We can't do that, can we? Because we don't even know what happened to anything at the end. But I like the fact they showed the mace, or what was left of the mace in the crater. Because, that's the only thing they're going to leave there.
It's just a giant freaking mace.
Yeah. And, they never detonated the base. They made sure to
they didn't.
They made sure that, okay, all the charges are set. They never got around to blowing it up.
I was wondering about that.
They never got around to that, but I think that's because of the Deinslave attack.
They kind of wrecked the base anyways.
Yeah, the base got wrecked just in that explosion or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't cratered, but it was damaged enough.
Well, there wasn't like a big fiery explosion or something, so you think they kind of like would have looked there and been like, I don't see bodies anywhere here.
Yeah. Well, there wouldn't have been much to find if that actually hit somebody. There wouldn't have been a whole lot. There would have been like splooshes, like when Mika ripped out.
They would have been looking for people impaled by them, but they would have found people like under rubble or like half crushed by rubble or something.
Yeah, probably.
Like the whole reason of like looking there would be like, hey, look, we found a guy that somehow survived. Let's publicly execute him.
Yeah, because they're going to publicly execute the guy when they've done everything else in secret. I don't think that would work out too well.
Well, no, they were very, very public that they were going to wipe them out.
Oh, what did I just step on?
They were secret about their legal stuff. They weren't secret about the fact that they were killing Tekadon.
Yeah. Well, they could have grabbed anybody and said, okay, this is the leader of Tekadon, because nobody would have known except for the people maybe on Mars or the people who've done direct business. But
and no one on Earth is going to care what anyone on Mars says anyway.
Exactly, they don't care. I like the fact that he basically, Rustel did the right thing and basically left Mars to be independent, which was, what they always wanted. That was the whole point from season 1. Mars wanted independence from Earth. Not just doesn't want to leave them behind, but they want to do their own thing. They don't want to be controlled by people who don't even live there. It's like it was fine when it was a colony 300 years ago or whenever, but this day and age, they needed to be able to control themselves. They needed to be able to govern themselves.
Well,
So,
I think that was probably a thing of like, you know what? If we keep doing this stuff, someone else is going to rise up again. Just act like we're being good guys and keep an eye on them otherwise.
Yeah. Well, as long as they don't go over to Jupiter and find GN drives, we'll be okay. Yeah, I'm throwing in some 00 crossover in there because
they've already been to Jupiter.
Were they in Jupiter already in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a trade route to Jupiter.
What was that second?
There was a trade route to Jupiter that was one of the trade routes that was controlled by Tewaz.
That's right. But they just never talk about anything else they do, like none of the bigger part of the universe. I guess there just isn't, there just wasn't enough time.
They took all the expanded universe story information you see in the side stuff and just kind of lumped it all into the main show.
Yeah.
I did at least like that we left Earth though for more than a little bit, because like all other Gundam has just been kind of like Yeah,
and
we've got
around.
some stuff in Jupiter.
Yeah.
And, Age was like, here's a colony outside of Jupiter for like 3 episodes. And
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping Mars would play more of a role in this, and also that it would look a little more different from Earth. But I guess
Actually,
we
yeah.
got
Age
something.
was Age was Mars as well.
Yeah, but it was like 3 episodes of being in a colony outside of Mars. It wasn't
Oh
on
yeah, yeah,
Mars.
yeah. Well, you said Jupiter. That's what I was
Well, it's
saying.
not like it could be on Jupiter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't they know the elves are hiding on Jupiter? Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they do.
Well, Age would have had the same setting if it was on Jupiter as Mars, since they were just on the colony anyway.
Yeah. Well, I guess they don't really have a whole lot of other places to go since Mars is like basically the sister planet anyway. So basing it on any other planet would be dumb. But I mean, the moon, I don't even think it played any purpose in this at all, did it?
Hey, G-Reco, they went to Venus, except they were like on a colony near Venus.
Yeah, but we don't talk about G-Reco.
I did a while back talk about having watched it and been partially through. And I finished it, and yeah, it got worse as it went.
I figured it did because I couldn't give it
Yeah.
4 episodes.
My
First-
favorite thing I read about it was where Tomino basically was like, I want 50 episodes. I wrote 50 episodes of story, and they said, you're only getting 27. He said, I'm not changing my story.
Yeah. Maybe that's what happened with season 2 of IBO. They promised them 50, and then they had to cram it into 26 or 25.
I think it was just poor communication and just bad management of the writing, honestly.
Part of me kind of wondered, like, if season 2 of IBO was kind of like a last minute decision or something.
I don't think the whole season was, but I think that there was a little too much committee involved in
Not the whole
development.
season, but making season 2, because it was like
Yeah.
they didn't mention anything about it at all until like the final episode of season 1, basically.
Yeah. But I think it was meant to be a longer season, or maybe even a double series, and somebody
No,
said, no, wait, never mind, we're cutting off your funding, trim it down.
I doubt that they intended to make it longer or a double season, because no Gundam series has ever been over the magical 49 to 52 episode mark that anime loves so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, I think that they always had a second season planned, because the only Gundam series we've gotten pretty much ever that was less than 50 episodes was G-Reco, and that's just because it just did so horribly. I mean, they've never really done just a 25 episode show.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the tragic canceling of X, which was supposed to be, I think, 49, but they cut it down to 36.
It was 39.
37-ish, I think. But yeah, that was because it was canceled. That wasn't the planned length of the show.
And I always felt that despite it getting canceled kind of last minute, they actually did a pretty decent job of ending the story.
They did.
I remember watching it and thinking, why did the ending rush so much? And I found out it was canceled.
Oh, so they pulled an Angel on it and then canceled it early and had to scramble to the end.
I was right. It was 39 episodes.
Dead air.
Yeah, that was very weird that the dead air just happened.
I'm going to just say right now to fill this air that I think probably, I know you guys were talking about the character death and how, you were really annoyed when, the turbines died and whatnot. The only character death that really bugged me was Hush, just because of how it didn't feel right for him. Because all through the show, they built him up as oh, okay, he's kind of a rival-ish character to Mika, but he's not nearly as good as Mika. And, okay, they could have built it up. They could have worked on it. And, later on, after he gets his own mobile suit, he has to be bailed out by Mika a couple times. And then I was fully expecting there at the end, yes, he does get in trouble there, and then Mika comes over, but I was genuinely expecting, in the natural, sensible way to have ended that character arc, I was expecting Mika to get jumped from behind by a graze, and then Hush would shoot it off his back or something and then die.
Yeah,
that's legit what I was expecting there.
I think Hush.
Just one final moment for Hush to prove himself before he died.
Yeah, and in the end, all he ended up being was Mika's.
Whoa.
What was that?
Yeah, that was. It was Mika's. What?
Wow, what happened there? I think your headphones came unplugged or something. That was a crazy noise.
I have no idea, but I was saying he was Mikazuki's wheelchair.
Yes, he was just the wheelchair, but like
I'll have to remember to like listen to that later because like I heard nothing strange on my end. I'm just like leaning back in my chair.
yeah, no, you need to hear that sound. It was impressive. What would have been nice is if Hush actually got to leave with the rest of the guys who got away, so that maybe he could have lived on with the lessons he learned from Mikazuki and maybe become something more than just his little vengeance machine that he was kind of on until he, I guess, got whipped by Mika and then went, "I will worship you now." You know, I think he needed that character development, and his character got robbed. Like, just here's this guy
They really
that
did.
from the beginning of season 2, the first episode, we're led to believe that this guy is going to be something. Like maybe even he's going to take over for Mikazuki. Something. We all had that theory.
And he became nothing.
I think people believing in episode 1 that he was going to actually be something was only because he looks kind of like the guy from Moon Steel.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, he does look like the Astaroth pilot.
Yeah, like as an actual character, he didn't get anything till a few episodes in. It was just kind of like, hey, here's one of the new hires. Why does he look like
why does he look like like Astaroth's pilot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I still, I know it'll never happen. I wouldn't mind Moon Steel being made into like an OVA or something.
But they didn't even bother focusing. They, like, with what they ended up doing with them, there was like no point in even giving him like any kind of characterization at all. Like everything they did for him like came to nothing, and like he's just another character there in the show, you know?
Yeah. Well, the same thing with all the new pilots, with the exception of the dude with the pompadour. I can't remember his name, but he throws a fit.
Zach.
Basically, Zach. Thank you. He didn't want to die, so he wants to leave, and then he gets screwed over, so he decides to help. And then he got okay, I'm really smart. I trained all this stuff with Yellowhorn before I quit and did my own thing. And then Dane, the big dude, he got a tiny bit of character at all, but that was like his thing. You'd be the big cuddly guy who only talks occasionally, but everything he says is poignant. That the big silent wall.
To be a murderer.
Yes, he was the wall of exposition. So that was good. We like that. I like the fact that the old man got to live and have babies with Miss Maribit. I thought that was a good thing. The second baby on their way. That was cool. The old man needed to be happy because he was nothing but just the caretaker for everybody. So it's good that he got to live. If he died,
and where the heck did that crush from Chad on Maribit come from?
Yeah, nowhere. Same way where Shino suddenly was gay and wanted to be with what's his face.
They hinted at that in season. They hinted at that in season 1. Like there was like a scene where like he like takes his hand to pull him out of the cockpit, and he like has like a little moment as he like grabs his hand.
I see, I missed that, but Shino was always talking about going out, and wasn't he always doing that thing like basically saying let's go out and pick up chicks and stuff?
Shino,
all the time.
Shino never said anything about that.
It's the other guy I can't remember.
It was Yamagi.
Yamagi.
Okay.
Yeah, Shino never said anything about it. He was just kind of like, huh, well, I'm glad there's different people here.
Yeah, like he was just like, oh, okay. He didn't seem like particularly interested in him.
Which that always reminds me of the thing that made me like, saddest about when he died was like the only time his character was ever not positive in the show. It's like no matter whatever happened, he was always like, happy, go lucky, positive guy. Everything's gonna work out, for someone. I guess except for his one strange, embarrassing moment that happened at the club that he was being best buddies with Zach about, and then that of course disappeared from the story too.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, we need to have some anime stuff happen. Let's have some kind of weird anime freakout moment, which I think is what the whole Chad thing was. Like, they're like, we need someone to have an anime freakout where they scream and make a lot of noise.
Yeah, they just needed it. We've got a downtime with no real actual story progression right here. We need to go ahead and throw in some just normal anime stuff. And they're like, what? This is not a normal anime? Do it anyways. Oh, okay. Chad will like Miss Maribit and then find out old man is actually with her. There we go. That's the entire episode written right there. Because Chad didn't honestly matter at all until the whole Earth Forces deal.
Well, we got some new watchers, and we've got a couple interesting comments that I'm going to mention. Also, Matt Zalewski, welcome to the stream. Welcome to everybody who's watching. Forgetting to say that.
How many people do we have watching right now?
14 at my last count.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. Good crowd.
Looks like the highest has been 16, but yeah, we're sitting at 14 right now. But Matt Zalewski said he was really disappointed Cadelli or Eugene never called Rustle out. Scuffle said he was fully expecting Cadelli to pull a handgun out and put one through his forehead. I was kind of expecting that myself.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hopefully
that
he
entire
wouldn't.
scene,
Hopefully she
I thought
wouldn't
was
miss like
gonna
Relina did.
Yeah. And Matt was also saying,
I loved that scene in Wayne because she like missed her from like across a table.
Yeah. But yeah, no,
expecting over the jump of the gun.
she is very not, first season, yeah, she was very Relina, but the second season she started getting a little harder, actually
She wasn't
becoming
even really
something.
Relina in the first season. I mean, she wanted to be able to contribute in the battles and stuff.
Well, she was mostly the sexy lamp. She
Like
just
if she was Relina, she would have been screaming about why is everyone fighting.
well,
but literally, like
no,
one
that
of
was
the
Miss
first
Merritt.
one of the first things she did after like learning about the AV system was she like asked if she could like have one installed on her. Remember?
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like right after she found out about it, she asked if she could have one installed so she could help them fight.
There you go.
Which is very un-Relina.
Yeah.
Yeah, very. But let's see. Matt is also saying that he thought the final battle seemed anticlimactic. Shouldn't have used the Dine Slaves, which we've gone over. But yeah, I think once they unveiled those weapons, that it's like Michael Bay and explosions. And he said that if Julieta had won one-on-one fairly, he would have been satisfied.
Yeah.
I would have been.
Julieta almost had no reason to be there.
I would have been
like she
offended
did
if
practically
she won fairly.
nothing.
Say that again, Max.
Max first, then second.
I was just saying I would have been offended if Julieta had won fairly.
Well, there was no fairly because they did the thing where I'm going to come into battle with a perfectly good suit and you're absolutely trashed and bleeding and dying.
No, but I was responding to his comment that he wanted to see him fight 101 at 100%. And I don't think it would have been satisfying to see her win at all because, it's just Mika had an unfair advantage.
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe that she had that she would have had an iron system installed. By the way, they were sort of talking about it, though.
No, she was completely against it.
She was the first? Did she say that
she
I'll
was
win this
completely
if it came
against
in?
it. She was never for that after, like, the very first thought she had of it.
Yeah. Because I thought when she was still in the tank healing and what's-his-face came to visit her, I thought maybe she changed her mind to do whatever.
No, she like immediately was like, no, it's great being human. I'm going to be human, and being human is awesome. Her random character development that made no sense.
She was like
like eating butterflies.
Yeah, how did she go from eating butterflies and being basically nuts to down to earth and grounded versus everyone else, and then suddenly absolute understanding of everybody on the battlefield?
Well, also remember right before that, she said she wanted to be a tool and didn't care how she was used.
Bless somebody.
Me.
That sounds like Dan.
Okay. Yeah, she didn't want to be a tool.
Sneezes at this point. Mostly because of that one podcast we did while he was sick, and he was like coughing every 30 seconds.
Oh, I remember that.
Okay, Scuffle's asking if he's crazy. Yes. But did the Bale look different in the shoulder chest area at the end in the hangar pool garage scene?
I think it was just the angle.
I think it was just the way it was just resting. I thought it was just basically the same. Like
I think it had been just fully restored, and maybe it was just the cage they had it in.
Yeah.
I will say I thought it looked different, but only because it was kind of, far off and small, and I was watching it on the tablet like after having just woke up. So
yeah, actually, at first I thought it was going to be Kimaris Vidar they were putting away, but then I looked at it, I was like, wait a minute, that's L. Hold on, because it did look different, but it was also in a different position than we've really ever seen it in, and once again, like from a distance. But I think it would have been a better scene, like if that mechanic lady that suddenly came in for 3 episodes and had exposition and then managed to do whatever, if she had literally been closing the doors, okay, there goes Viel getting put away, there goes Kimaris getting put away, like she's literally like putting away all the Gundams, like we don't need these anymore, they're locking them up. But if they, like I said earlier, maybe if they recovered.
Well, Kimaris Vidar wasn't in the greatest condition after that battle.
No.
Yeah, but if they had that long to really repair it, they could have put it back. They can. We've seen what they can do.
Put it back in the original like Kimaris whatever form that it started out in, because apparently that was like what they did as kind of like a showpiece or whatever. Like the way that it showed up initially in the series.
Which is why I think
the normal Kimaris.
Yeah, that's why I think it would have been cool if they'd done that. Like, okay, so here's Kimaris going back in the vault. We don't need this anymore. It's good. It's back to being its pure form. It doesn't need to be its corrupted form anymore, which also would have been nice for symmetry with Galileo himself. I think that would have been a fun way to end that.
Well,
And
the
then,
so-called corrupted form was, according to the manuals, which is ridiculous, supposed to be its original form.
Which still annoys me because that's so stupid.
well, how can they say that that was the original form when we even talked about this before, that the old version of Kimaris from the beginning was said that's how it was been kept just in the vault forever.
If no,
Yeah,
what
they
actually,
said they preserved it in that form.
well, like part of what they had said about it as well was something about like they had kind of fixed it up to use as like a decorative piece or whatever. It's like, oh, look how awesome we are. Like I can't remember the exact wording, but maybe the intentions was, or at least like last minute they changed it. It's like, oh, we just meant that they changed it to look that way to be regal rather than ugly and stupid.
I was about to say that they probably just. I mean, I wouldn't display the Kimaris Vidar if I had one.
I wouldn't.
I'd make it look like the Kimaris.
It's
Now,
gonna
if
be
it
a
had
different
one,
color.
if it was one or uniform
Color.
color scheme, yes. But I mean, just that black, purple, yellow, silver mess.
The weird
I like.
primer color legs.
Yeah, I think that's literally what it was. Like they rushed it to get it out into that battle, so they just didn't finish it. But now, can we talk about the fact that that thing had Dine Slaves that we never saw in action?
I
Yeah.
talked about it.
Can we talk about the fact that like every mobile suit had like at least one thing that was never used?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Actually, I remember one thing I thought was real funny was, didn't Amita use the shock knuckles like in her very final fight?
No,
She might have.
No, I
I
don't
do not
think she
remember
did.
her
I think
using
she
them
had
at all.
blocked. I think she blocked like an attack from Julietta with it, and I was like, she finally used it, and now she's gonna die.
I still think they never used them ever.
I think she used them to like block a hit or something like that, because there was a moment where like there definitely seemed to be sparks, but maybe it was supposed to be sparks of like metal rubbing metal. But I just remember seeing them being like, yes,
I think that was.
finally.
I think that was whenever, because remember Julietta's all like, "How is she so strong in this old weak mobile suit?" And because love is the power of everything.
But like,
But
let's see. Like, there were the chest verniers on the Kimaris Trooper. There's
those weren't
possibly the knuckles on the Hyakuren.
There's the
There's-
landmines in the Kamaris Trooper.
Landmines in the Kimaris Trooper. Yeah. Did the Helmwidge ever actually like split its sword thing?
Nope.
what do you
Okay,
mean?
They
so
never
there's
used
another
the
thing.
shock ones
No.
either.
Helmviga
Never
did
used the
not.
shock horns. Never used the face mask.
Yeah.
Did
Never
Kamaris
used
ever
any of
use
that. It
its
was
like fold-out sword?
No, not that I
I
remember.
think he might have.
No, first battle.
I
First
feel
battle.
like he might have used it.
The first battle, and then he lost it. I
think
I
he
remember
fired like a
Mika
single
knocking him out.
shuriken from his shoulders too.
He did.
Yeah,
That
he fired
one
the
time.
shurikens.
He did use the shurikens only once.
Yeah, he used it in that one battle, and that was it. Well, this is like I was talking to you guys. The option set 9 comes with the parts for Barbatos Lucas Rex to make a piece together thing that never actually made it to the show, to where he basically is throwing whatever's laying around together to get back into battle, which I think would have been fun symmetry for the beginning of everything, and then for him to go into that final battle all pieced together with parts.
When I saw him stand up after the Dine-Slev shots with like one arm left, I thought, oh, okay, this is how he's going to survive the fight. And then after that, they're going to do something else with the other form.
Yeah, but no. no Barbatos Lucas Rex Form 2.
Actually, wasn't that thing also just like some like, oh, here's a leak, so like ultimately it would have just been fake anyway?
No, they said it was actually
No, they
part of
showed
the
an
original
actual
design.
official image of the kit
Oh,
that was
okay.
like kit bashed together with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's the region lace shoulder and bicep, and he goes back to the original arm shield that he had, that they stole from the Greys, the little blue arm shield.
Yeah, it's from Barbatos Form 1.
Yeah, from the Form 1, and then something else. There was another difference, but yeah, they could actually make that thing look like that. I think it was fun.
It had Landman Roadie legs on its back as thrusters.
Yes, that was the other thing. It had the Landman Roadie boosters. That's right. I knew there was something else
To be
there.
fair, when we initially saw the like Vidar Form 2, it was like a silhouette of Vidar with a bunch of things sticking out of it, and then they're like, hey, here's the Kamaris Vidar, guys, and it looked nothing like it.
Yeah, I don't know what that
Yes,
was
I
all
remember
about.
that.
I think that was
It looked
literally
like it
them
had
faking this out.
a giant long like thin spear lance thing or something.
And it had like a 3-row fin, V-fin going on, or like a center spike and then 2 sharper pointy spikes. Yeah, I think they were literally trying to fake us all out because they got tired of people spoiling things. So
And
they literally
speaking
gave
of
us.
weapons-
especially
Speaking of
after Flauros' color got spoiled.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I raged on that. I raged on that hard.
Speaking of weapons that were never used, I'm looking at the option set 7 right now, and they're showing Barbatos with a cannon that I don't think he ever used, ever.
Nope, never did.
And the knives for Floros I don't think were used either.
Nope. No, they weren't.
Wait, no. Well, they use them, the Hejika or the Hekija, whichever. They use it in the intro at least. Whether they use it in the actual show, I don't recall.
We might have actually seen
That's a different weapon.
Him at one point. He never
no,
used
those big curved knives. It was that same weapon.
Different weapon.
Same
the Floros' curved thing is a different one from the one that comes with the Hekija.
No, that's what I'm saying is we saw those weapons with the Hekija. But we never saw anything else. Yeah, but only I think in the intro. It never used in the show.
No, the one it pulls out in the intro is the one it has in the show.
Isn't it? But it's not the same.
That shot you see in the intro where you see like the camera pull back on the Hekija, it pulls out the knife and like whips it out to the side. That's the normal Hekija sword that's kind of curved forward. The little climbing knives that come in option set 7 are not used in the show.
Okay. I can't go over into my backlog over here to look. That's the only way I can confirm, but they're over there. I can't get to it with my headphones on. What else didn't get used? Wasn't there at least one other weapon that came in option set, like a big gun that never got used?
I think that's the one that Second was just talking about.
Yeah,
I never saw a missile pack be used. I never saw the shotgun or the grenade launcher from option set 2.
No, one of those was. I think one of those was used by the Roe actually in the final battle of season 1.
That would make no sense considering they use it for regional
Did we ever see a bladed bat?
Nope.
I don't think so.
I don't remember seeing one, but I feel.
Oh, you know what else we don't see? That 2-horned mask that came in the option set for the Sheeden.
Yes, you're right. I was going to say we get Orgas, but we don't get that one. Which
makes me wonder if like the 2-horned one was intended for.
Max, that beeping has to be you. I think your headset's going bad on you, buddy.
It might have been meant for either Hush or Ride. I'm thinking.
I was thinking it was for Eugene probably.
Well, I was hoping
but then they just never actually built it because he was more often like piloting stuff.
I thought it was going to be for the Ride A Go, or what do they call it? The Ride A Go. The Ride and Go. That would have made sense for it, but they just gave it the same face that
Commander fin that Sheeden had.
Yeah, I think that would have been better off. Which how long till we get the P Bandais for that and then Orga's Sheeden, which I'll buy. Don't worry about that. But
I'm surprised we haven't gotten the Ride and Go announced yet.
Yeah, I mean they didn't wait too long to do the Ryusei Go, and I've still got to build that sometime soon.
I mean, they announced the EOX Region Lays and Gray's Ritter like 3 months before the show came out. So
yeah, and I'm still waiting on my EOX Region Lays. I don't know why that's got more of a delay. I thought it was the same month at the
same day.
Yeah, but it didn't. I'm still waiting on it. I had a pre-order. I'm still waiting on it.
They probably just couldn't get enough of them in.
Well, that would be.
I'm still trying to figure out if I'm gonna
so badly.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out if I'm gonna get the Calamity War Flauros.
I haven't been able to find it anywhere that's still on sale. Because last time we talked about it, there was one place, and they don't have it anymore.
It looked really cool, and I like the Flauros, but I don't really see a big reason to get it myself. Like I'll be happy enough with my red one.
Yeah, it's not different enough. I mean, it's just a straight recolor, realistically. So I mean,
well, it's got the weapons from the option set to like the short cannons and the knives.
Yeah, but I mean, we could do that with what we've got and some paint.
Well, yeah, that's the point. That all the P Bondi kits, except for like maybe the Ryusei Go Sheeden, is like the only one you can't really make with just like what you get at retail. Like none of them have new tooling, really. Yeah,
that's true. Matt Zalewski just brought up a really good point. What is with the huge lack of full mechanics kits? And I blame Dan.
You slandered them, and now Bondi doesn't want to make them.
Dan hated them so hard up until Vidar that they stopped wanting to produce any of them, especially Floros, which everybody wants. And I personally would love to have a full city, I would really want to see a full city. Yeah, I think it'd be fun, and it would be a huge kit because you could
It
really
would
make
be
those
awesome.
scissors work. But yeah, that for Vito, maybe they'll do it later in the year. They maybe just didn't want to do it right now.
I have a suspicion that some of the other 1/100s from season 1, like the Kimaris Trooper and stuff, like some of those just didn't sell. Like
Yeah.
I've seen some of those, like the Kimaris Trooper and like the Schwab Greys and the Greys, clearance down really hard on sites that like normally don't clearance anything at all.
Yeah, I think
So
the Man Roadie I saw like on sale almost all the time everywhere too.
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably why we got less of that stuff and more just general high grades.
Yeah. Actually, you're. I think Bendover is really right there that they're not going to give us any MGs. There's no reason. The full
Well,
mechanics is more than good enough.
I like an idea that Second had a while back as well of like, why would they even bother? Because they don't show anything in the show enough to, really warrant being given a master grade. Like maybe Lupus Rex, but that, and
Yeah,
everything else is like you've seen it like what, once, twice?
I think realistically,
And there's so many designs in the show, and there's just too many. And like every time someone uses something, they like drop it right afterwards. And I talked about this last night in the test stream, so I'm just going to kind of quickly go over it again here. But there was obviously more communication between the mechanical designer and the writer, because
Yeah.
like you look at the Vidar, and that doesn't look like a machine that was drawn up with the intent of it being used in 2 episodes. The guy who made that thought he was making like a major villain suit.
yeah. Well, see, that's why I still say that it almost seems like they had a much longer season planned, and then before they really got into development, because you can see with the kits, like you said, with the design of the kits, the design of the suits, nothing looked like it was going to be temporary. Everything looked like it's going to be around for a while, not 2.5 episodes and then never get used again, or get as what handed to it when it should have been this awesome thing. It's just so stupid. But if they had given them double the episodes, they could have made all of that work in a way that made sense. Vidar could have been the ultimate thing that it was, and maybe made that whole revenge story make more sense than the way it did end.
What annoyed me about it was they like, how like every Gundam series like has like that core sort of team of mobile suits that you like see like all the time in every episode. Seed had like the GAT suits, 00 had like the 4 main Gundams. There's no like core team like that in IBO, really.
Yeah.
Very true.
Like every time it's different mobile suits.
Yeah.
And
question.
I feel like with the Vidar especially, they were like making excuses to not show it. Like they were like, oh, the system's not done yet. I can't use it yet in this battle. When like 3 different times in season 1, they launched the Barbatos like 30% complete.
Yeah, going into battle, basically duct taped together. It's like, just go. It'll be okay.
Did you guys get a beep from me in the past minute?
I heard it.
In the past minute, no.
Okay, I was gonna wonder because I just got like a message on my phone and my my running watch will like do notifications, so I kind of wondered if maybe it was like wireless interference because my phone's on one side and the watch is on the other.
Nope, no beep.
Hey guys,
But
let's hold on. Let's take a pause for a second. Let's direct to the comments, guys, because we got a lot of guys arguing right now what was the best looking or best suit in the series.
Gundam Vidar.
Yeah, because we've got Dave here says Vidar was definitely the best.
He's right.
I love Grimgard. Personally, I love Grimgard. And then we got some Barbatos, looks awesome. How about the cat ear Barbatos? I think that was probably the best one.
What?
The cat. Were you not in the stream last time? We were talking about the cat ear Barbatos. It wasn't actually in the show. It was in the chat.
Okay,
But,
I think I might have missed that.
Yeah, I think that was right when you left. But yeah, I thought, okay, the Valkyrie suits or suit, technically speaking, I guess. Why couldn't we have just gotten more history on those? Seemed like maybe some of those come together. Like we're supposed to be 9 Valkyries, something like that. I forgot what the number was.
Yeah, I think the
I think it was
Valkyries
12.
were not. I think the Valkyries were the first, not the first 9, but it's either 9 or 12.
I think it's
But
9.
A lot of people are
I think
probably
it is
gonna.
9 because there were 12 Gundams that survived the war, and I think that's what I was mixing it with.
Yeah,
A lot of people are probably gonna think I'm crazy with this, but to me,
we all do.
as much as I like the look of Vidar, I am completely sold on the look of Bale as it is.
Yeah, but you also love the 1.5, so very similar designs.
Yes, I do love the 1.5.
Yeah.
If Bale got to show like really what it could do as far as just like ripping mobile suits apart with its bare hands, I probably would have liked it a lot better.
Yeah, if we got to see it really do what it was, I guess, known for, as we were talking about it in the tech manual about it, and how basically it didn't have real weapons because it was a power suit. He could just basically destroy all just with his hands. Now that would have been something to see, but of course McGillis have to have his shiny little golden swords, which of course, as we find out, were an afterthought. But
Yeah.
just yeah, I mean, Bell was good. I didn't like its horns, its horn-shaped kind of V-fin. I really didn't dig that. And I thought they were a little too wide and weird looking. But overall, I like that
They
suit.
are kind of weird.
It looks very bovine. It looks very much like a bull's horns more than any. Well, aside from the Helmvig.
But Helmvig, Matt is saying that he thinks it's one of the coolest looking kits, and as far as kits go, especially the high grades, I would agree with that because I just built mine yesterday. And was it yesterday? Did I?
It was yesterday.
Yeah, because
it was Saturday.
It might have been the day before, actually.
No, it was yesterday because I worked yesterday.
Yeah, I was at work when he said he finished it, and I was like, "What?"
I've seen actually two really good customs with that. One person turned it into Shovel Knight, and another person turned it into Samus Aran.
I love the Shovel Knight version. That was really good. But as I was telling you guys yesterday, that somebody did it with the Guzhan head and turned it into Sir Frog from Chrono Trigger, which that was just. I mean, granted, the guy probably, if he had a little bit more time, he could have made the paint job just a little bit more better, add a couple more details. But he looked rushed. But it was still a fun concept. Because they actually they found the good old way to use the good old frog head on something. But yeah, as for cool looking kits, I don't know. Got so many behind me. Now, are we talking season 2 or are we talking in general? Because we are kind of just IBO in general, right?
I assume the
How
whole
about
thing
a comments?
we were also talking about the Grimguard at the time.
Do you want second season or do you want all 50 episodes? I'll give the comments.
If we're talking all 50, I think either the Kumaris or the Guzhan just original forms would probably be my favorite.
Yeah.
I'll give the comments about a minute to catch up with us.
Yeah. Now, of course, I love the Frog Guzhan. You guys know I love that. Drawing a friggin' blank here. Hugo's one of my favorite designs, period.
That's kind of neat.
I love it for being so weird and different, too.
Yeah, it's very.
Looks like most of what I'm getting is, as far as comments, is that they want us to go over like all the designs. And one of the ones that I really like, at least as far as just the design, but not the kit, was the Region Lays.
Let's not go down the Region Lays hole again. We both hate that kit with a passion. I think almost everyone that does. Like it's
Scuffle, I got to agree with you. Roe does need a 1/100.
Yeah, Roe needs that.
Roe high grade is awesome, and everyone should buy one. I'm going to say that right now as a little preview of my review for tomorrow.
Yeah, well, even before we started streaming, second was, guys, if you have yours, build it now.
Yeah, he said that. He's like, if you don't have it, get it. If you haven't built it, build it. Yeah, let's do a four-way build review on that. Just real quick.
Yes.
No, just kidding, because I don't want to have to put mine together that fast. So it's a Region Lays hole.
Is that 2 suits that all 4 of us have? The Helmviga and the Roe? Did all 4 of us get both of those?
Do we all have the Roe?
Yep.
I've got it. Yep.
Because I've got it.
Cool. Awesome. We all have it then.
Roe and Helmviga. The day that it was announced.
I mean, I've got essentially all of the HGs from this season except for the March ones. So if you guys have any of those, then yeah, we're doubled up. Or tripled up. But then again, I also have the P Bandais. You guys don't have those.
I'm going to say, as far as designs I like, one that I actually really like, but I always kind of forget that I like it just because of like the 30 or 40 some suits that were introduced after it. I actually still really like just the basic design of the Schwalbe Greys.
Yeah. Schwalbe Greys was always good. Actually, I prefer it in purple.
In Gaelio's colors?
Yeah, I actually prefer that one, and of course that's one of the only ones I don't have from either season, and it didn't stick around very long.
Neither of them did. Well, nothing did really, so I mean, it's not like that's a big deal. And it annoys me so much because that's really the writer's fault completely, because there's a lot of cool designs there and they don't use any of them. And all they had to do was, even if they just wrote like 2 or 3 of them really well into the story, it would have been fine. Like there's been Gundam series with like really stupid looking mobile suits that I still want to get as kids just because they did awesome things in the show and they were used a lot in the show. I mean, first episode of 8th MS Team, Shira goes out in a ball and kicks ass, and it's awesome. And that's a ball. And that alone was better handling of mobile mechanic stuff than anything in IBO.
Yeah. There's another. I can't think here. Sorry, I'm reading the comments. I'm not keeping up with my actual thoughts. Going all the way back, there were so many seasons. We never got the Garn Roadie, which I think would have been interesting.
Or the Spinner Roadie.
Or the Spinner Roadie. No. What was the other one? The Gilda that we saw for like 5 seconds. In like an episode like 7 or 8, we saw the Gilda.
Yep.
Which is more or less like a Hugo.
Without the head thing and other armor.
Yeah. Then there was actually they had Hugos. Jocelyn's guys actually had a couple of Hugos.
Yeah.
Because they took everything from those guys. The Dawn Horizon Corps basically got just absolutely scrapped and got everything taken by Tewaz. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean we basically covered it. I mean things that were good. Like Region Laser was a good design. Julia, I think, is a great design.
We still need the final grays.
We need all of the
like
grazes.
Julia just for the chain sword.
Chain sword is awesome. Yep. I'm looking up here. Actually, you know what? I prefer normal Lupus compared to like Lupus Rex.
I do by far.
By far, those gorilla arms ruined Lupus Rex for me.
The gorilla arms are the arms are the only thing I actually like about the Rex. Like those arms on the Lupus would look okay. I just think like the changes made to the rest of the body just look really boring. They just like took like the red on the shoulders and made it blue and made it look less prominent. And like they did a bunch of other stuff to it, and it just doesn't look as good as the Lupus did, really.
Yeah, it's kind of like what they did when they threw in the Form 6. It like overall changed so many of the things that actually looked good with the normal Barbatos. And yeah, it was just layers on layers. But yeah, I was looking at it the other day. I was going back to my reviews, and I was looking at my my Lupus versus Form 6, and I'm like, the Form 6 looks so boring, even though that was like the ultimate version of Barbatos at that point. But compared to like the great color separation and just the extra details put in on Lupus, it was more than just night and day. You know, it was just much better. But it's kind of the same thing they did when they got to Rex. They slimmed it down, or they trimmed it down, added more stuff, and made it more white. It got dropped off the extra colors that really made it pop. You know, and then of course they added the tail, which is fun.
Awesome.
Did he actually ever really use his subarms in the actual show? I think he did.
Might have
once.
used,
if at all.
I feel like he probably used them at some point to like grab his mace off his back, just because I doubt he could actually reach it with his arms, just because of how weirdly shaped they are.
What, the Lupus Rex?
Yeah, the Lupus Rex.
I feel like he used them in like the first or second battle, but he used it to just like
throw something,
hit one thing basically.
I thought
actually, you know what? In the intro, he actually uses them to like grab onto something. He used them to grab onto his mace in the intro, I think.
Yeah, I thought so too. But yeah,
I feel like he did use it one time in like.
Scuffle's saying that he used the subarms to grab a suit that was trying to rush past him.
Okay, yeah.
Was that in a space fight or on terra firma, Scuffle?
Space fight.
I think it was a space fight because it almost never fought on ground.
Almost.
Yeah, it very, very rarely even fought on the ground. But I think we probably all agree that the high point of this season was the Hashmal fight.
Oh, without a doubt.
That was just the absolute high point of everything. We'd see Barbatos just go, you know.
Well,
total.
I liked when Mika said baby hands were like, or baby wrists were like hams, and they looked delicious.
Okay, yes. Mika,
when Cordelia and Acho were like looking at Akatsuki and they like brought up his hands, I was like 100% expecting one of them to mention that.
That actually would have been funny, yeah. But he wasn't a baby though. He was like a 4-year-old.
They do look like hams.
Yeah.
But as far as fights and how the fight was choreographed, definitely the fight with Hashmal was the best.
Yeah.
I
And
feel
I'm
like
gonna add
the fight with the Hugo was really good too. I mean, just watching everything Barbatos Lupus did in that battle.
Yeah, that first battle with the Dawn Horizon Core was pretty
Yeah.
good. Not on
And
the
I'm gonna
ground.
add that
That was
the
pathetic.
I'm gonna add that the Hashimal battle, part of what made it good was like that scene at the start where they're going to it and McGillis is like hyping it up and you're like, oh crap, this is gonna be a big battle. I feel like that at the start made it better as well.
Yeah.
Since it actually, they built it up to make it seem like an actual threat instead of it being, here's Mobile Suit 10,080, fight
Yes.
it, yay,
Yeah,
done,
we
moving on to the
were
next
worried
star.
that was going to be like, the next big portion of a series, but then it kind of got its
Exactly.
2
It
episodes.
just fizzled. Yeah. But it also gave us Floros doing pretty much the only thing Floros got to do.
Galaxy Cannon.
He shot rocks, and
Hold
then he shot again at a ship, and he missed it.
Hold on, wait. Let Max do it. Go ahead.
Galaxy Cannon.
No,
I don't
say
feel
it
like
with
shouting it.
no, say it like
You had to
Shino.
yell it.
Say it
Yeah.
like Shino. Do it. Do it. Come on.
Nah. I don't
Somebody.
say she
If you don't do it, I will.
I'm gonna take my earbuds out. Go ahead, second.
Galaxy Cannon!
There we go. It was
Rip
worth
headphone
it.
users.
Yep. Sorry, guys.
I'm the
But yeah,
next
no.
Domon.
Yeah, doing very Doman. But yeah, no, I think that was fun, and then the fact that Yamagi had to ride in his lap for that was hilarious. Yeah,
I'm
just
sure Yamagi liked that.
there was something. Everything about that scene was so wrong. Okay, first of all, on Mars they don't believe in shirts. It's like it's easier to fight with no shirt on in Mars. Guys, you're in a mobile suit. You can wear a shirt. It's okay. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna bring this up, and it's so weird. This got brought up in the Facebook group a long time ago. I think when season 2 first started, or maybe in the end of season 1. And I get it. Maybe it's an anime thing, or just trying to keep it clean. But nobody has nipples. Has anyone ever realized that nobody and all these shirtless guys running around,
I guess
nobody
they were
has
too
nipples?
muscular. They were too muscular to have them, I guess.
Maybe they had to remove them to add the Aliavascula system or whatever.
Yeah, Elia Vijnana.
Alivignana, that's what it is. Because I finally watched the dub and I was like, oh, that's how they say it. Because it sure doesn't sound like that when they say it in the subbed version.
Well, what's
No, they say Elias.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's funny because I was reading on some forums and everybody was calling him Elia Shiki. I was like, why do they keep saying Shiki? Because I can clearly find the Vijnana stuff, and then like I listened to Vijnana. Oh, they're saying Shiki in Japanese. Okay.
Yeah, they say something like totally different in the Japanese dub, and it throws you off really, really something.
So apparently Matt Zalewski's deaf now. See what you did. Yeah, the Eliashkini, or however they say it, the Eliashiki.
It was like Alayashka or something. It sounded like it sounded nothing like it.
It sounds like one word, yeah. Eliashiki. Yeah, basically.
It was like at
so
least 4 syllables too short.
Yeah, because I was listening to it. I'm like, and watching, reading it, listening to it. I think it took about most of the first season. I went, they are not saying that, but we're getting that word. It's like, how do they come up with this from what was said? It's like if it's
they're not like are they like actual words? Like they might be actual words in like some language.
Elia probably is.
I do know that like when I've looked it up before and saw that it was like a Buddhism thing, like the Elia Vijnana whatever, that is like one of the 8 consciences. But maybe that's just like Vashiki.
So maybe they have a different word for it in Japanese.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Actually, that would totally make sense as a separate consciousness, because that's essentially what the Gundams and any of the mobile suits become. So nipples were not in the animation budget. There we go. Well, okay. So I haven't watched the dub. How do they say it?
Elia Vijnana.
Oh, okay. So it just sounds retarded. So I thought. That's why I won't watch the dub, because everything's going to sound stupid.
They also call Kudelia.
Well, I'm okay with that. Or Kudelia or Kudelia. I always say Kudelia. Which I'm going to say this. I like her haircut at the end of the series. She got rid of the ridiculous Pokemon haircut and trimmed it all off.
Yes,
because she's on Earth now. She has to conform to gravity.
She wasn't on Earth. She was on Mars.
No, she was still on Mars.
What did you say? You were not a fan of her what?
I said I was never a big fan of her like giant hair from the first season, or her like weird like country girl dress or whatever.
Yeah, the country girl dress was really strange, I thought, but it made sense for where they came from, even though she was like supposed to be the richest girl on the planet.
So
literally.
I'm going to have to go back in after this posts to my channel, and I'm going to have to go in And right before Second does his scream, I'm going to have to put up a big warning says, "Rip it out, users."
Yep. Too late now.
Hey,
We're all
it was,
deaf now.
it was fine over my headphones.
I said I was going to do it. That's warning enough.
I unplugged my earphone. Sounds good. Yeah, the chat can't keep up with us, I guess. Or we can't keep up with the chat. I don't know.
I think there's a 30-second delay between us and the chat.
Dan, did you set a 30-second delay?
No.
Yeah, you can adjust that.
Yeah, you can
To
actually
be fair,
set a delay.
the delay wouldn't really change anything from him having said it and then doing it, though.
Yeah.
The only thing it could have done is, like, right after I said it, one of you could have typed in the chat, Second's going to scream, cover your ears.
Why couldn't you type that into the chat since you were the one?
Because I can't access the chat when I'm in the mobile version of this.
That's right. I forgot.
He's had to take in a ton of air for it.
That's right. Well, I forgot. I'm doing a computer. Dan's doing a computer. I don't know what Max is doing, but
yeah, I literally cannot see the chat right now. They better not be saying bad things about me.
Oh,
they all are.
I forgot that whenever I say the word computer, my phone picks up the S voice, so it starts wanting to do commands. Do we think that PG Barbatos is possibly coming in these? I hope so.
No.
I think a PG Barbatos would be awesome.
I mean, it would be awesome. I just don't think they're going to do it.
As long as they release every form with it and not like as armor add-ons, not having to buy other.
Only one that would be able to get one.
I think that
they're going to do 8 different perfect grade Barbatoses, 1 for each form.
Why not? They've done 5 unicorns.
Well, that's because
but they didn't do like 5 different unicorns. They did 3, 4 unicorns, and then like the option set parts for them. You know?
No, I'm talking about PGs though. You got normal unicorn.
Yeah, PG.
But I mean, you got.
There was unicorn, green unicorn, Banshee Norn, Phoenix, and then normal Banshee parts and full armor unicorn parts.
And 7-Eleven. You have to buy
not canon.
I don't care. They did it.
Speaking of 7-Eleven, though,
7-Eleven had like glow-in-the-dark sparkle parts.
It does.
It does, and that 7-Eleven Perfect Rate of Stray is the only 7-Eleven kit I've ever seen where I was like, wow, I actually legit wish I could get a hold of one of those.
Yeah.
And of course, it's like a $300 kit before you do all the other stuff you need to get a hold of it, so that's not happening, but still. So cool.
I think if they did do a PG Barbatos, they would have to beef up the center section a little bit, because I think with that much weight, that center joint would probably not be able to hold itself up that well when it comes down to that very fine point right at the waist.
Well, didn't they make parts for the Astray out of diecast?
Yeah, there's a couple that are in they're in the knees.
Well, they could do that.
Yeah, they could. I think a PG Barbatos would be cool maybe in a year or so. I think it'd be fun.
You know what I could see? I could see them doing a new Perfect Grade RX-78 that's like based off the RG/Master Grade 3.0 design to kind of coincide with the return of the Gundam statue in 2019.
With the walking one?
Yeah, I could see them doing that as a excuse to make a new PGRX-78 because it's like the only grade they haven't remade it as, and that's a good excuse to do it.
Bandai barely needs reasons to continue making that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And then we've got this new Gunpla Evolution project that is supposed to be going across all grades, high, real, RE100, Master, and Perfect. So
yes, because the RE grade definitely needs stepping up after, what, 2 years?
Yeah.
Everything that I've built from the RE line has been amazingly perfect.
Exactly. There's nothing really to step up, unless they want to literally make them Master grades, which would be silly, because then there'd be no reason for them to exist.
Exactly.
Okay, I got a question, just a random thought. They never did a PG age, did they? They only did the mega size.
No, they only did the megas.
Okay. I think the age would be a fun
PG age would have show formed harder than anything else in Gunpla history.
Yeah. I'd have been okay with it. I'm a fan of the age, like we talked about last night, but we're talking IBO here.
Well, we're also answering questions from the comments as well.
Yeah. RX-78 4.0. There we go. That's what we need. We need a 3.2. 3.5.
Well, it would be a 5.0 because the 4.0 is the origin one.
I would think so. Brutality says no PG age. Yes, Age should definitely finish up their MG line finally after all these years. That would just make everybody happy. And they don't need RG ages though. I think that's just pointless.
No. There's only really a few things that would like really benefit from like real grades, honestly.
Yeah, a real grade grays. Let's do that.
I mean, I'd like to see real grades of like the Katoki Wing Gundam designs. That would be neat, and like maybe the other GAT suits and like a couple other things. But like, there's not a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, let's remake every mobile suit in Gunpla history as a real grade. No, that's not really necessary.
Am I the only one? Just random thought. Am I the only one who kind of wished that Elion would have gotten into a mobile suit just to get his ass handed to him?
Not really. I mean, that sort of character type never really usually gets a mobile suit. Like, he was kind of like Degwin. What was the name? Degwin Zabi in like the first series.
Yeah.
He's like that. Like, he isn't really like the pilot guy. He's just the main commanding bad guy.
Yeah, I think it would have been fun because it seemed like we were throwing other people in mobile suits that didn't belong there, like Eok. You know, I think it might have been interesting, but then again, it would have been good if McGillis had just gotten to the bridge to kill him. But, you know, we're not in charge of the story.
We should be. I really feel that, like, the writing on this was, like, as a story, I think it was okay, but the way they handled the mobile suits and from, like, a marketing standpoint, it was terrible. Like, I'm going to go back to that again where I said earlier that they weren't showing enough mobile suits enough, and like that's terrible marketing. Like, they needed to push less different suits and focus on just more machines that they could just keep putting out there, because, you know, right now as IBO is, or rather as IBO was, you know, mobile suit model kits announced, next week is in the show, kit comes out, next week it's dead. Moving on. And like, it's like, well, you know, it's like it doesn't have that reoccurring kind of wow factor to it of the mobile suit coming back again and again and again. So like, as far as selling kits by having them appear in the show, they're only really getting those big sales in like that 1 week.
Yeah. So when it comes out, that's when the people want to buy it. But then
exactly.
But if they don't have the kit available for whatever reason upon that release of it in the show, then people want to rage, or they forget about it later on when it comes out as a P Bandai for some reason.
Exactly, and it's so poorly handled, and like with like, you know, I'm not putting this together well, but
calm down, breathe.
The way they do that, it's so frustrating because they're going for like just those initial sales, and they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot because they're losing out on all the long-term sales. Like, we're still getting Seed stuff, what, 15 years almost? Actually, yeah, 15 years after the show originally aired, because, you know, all the GAT suits were used in like every single battle. So, you know, they can still do kits. They can still sell even the old kits of like, you know, Blitz and Buster and Duel and Aegis, because they were always being used in the show. And, you know, with IBO, 10 years from now, we might maybe get like a HGUC revived Barbatos, and like, that's it. Like, they're not going to do the other stuff. It's going to be like just another one of those forgotten shows like Turn A or G Reco.
I hope not. I mean, because the first season was so much better than the second season. That they should focus at least on that if they're going to go that way. But yeah, the second season, too much going on. But you know, it's kind of like you were saying, like, okay, it's only on the screen for so long. It's only in so many episodes. So if you wanted to play like, who's that mobile suit, and you just put up the outline, people would be like, is that a Grays? Yes, but which Grays?
Yeah.
No, too late. Or, hey, which Barbatos version is this? You know.
I think
6.
that...
No, you're wrong. It was 4.2.
As far as getting like more IBO stuff down the line, if 00, which had like 4 mobile suits per season, which were used every single time, still can't get a full set of those kits released as like a later model series, there's no way we're going to get anything with IBO.
Yeah, that's probably
like
true.
If we can't get Curios, Dynames, and Virtue, we are not getting like Gujion, Floros, and Kimaris.
Yeah.
I fully agree with that.
Yeah, because they never even did the movie suits in 1-100, did they? They only did
no, not at all.
Yeah, so that's a shame because well, except for the Quanta, but that was an MG. But they had to do that. It was the quote unquote hero suit. But the fact that we never got master grades, yeah, we got decent, we got pretty good 1 to 100s, which my buddy Nick absolutely loves. He has pretty much all of them at this point. But yeah, the fact that those aren't getting updated, they're not getting redone, even though those are just great. People love that show, and like you said, tons of exposure for those suits versus what happened with this season of IBO. Like, it's on screen, it's gone. Hugo's were probably the shortest lived. No, technically, Garn Roadies were the shortest lived anything.
Hey,
But
I got really happy when Hugo showed up briefly in a later battle, but then they immediately all got destroyed.
yes, when the Hugos
Yeah.
when Ghastly used the Hugos, yeah, they just
Yeah.
got wiped out. Now, when it was only 3 of them out there on the battlefield, that was cool. That's their thing. That's their bad guy deal. They're just the Hugo guys. But everybody else
they
was
did fairly
flying
good
around.
outside of Lupus.
Yeah, those guys. If they had really had the numbers and Julieta wasn't in there making a mess, I bet it would have been a decent fight for Barbatos to take on all 3 of them.
Nah,
I
I think
think
he
as
still
far-
would have had an easy time with them.
I think it was
Remember,
kind
he
of.
also fought Julia for them.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of a nice surprise, at least for me, to see the Hyakuri actually come back during that fight with Jasmine.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did use one, didn't they?
That's like one of the few mobile suits that like shows up again completely unchanged.
Yeah. See, I hated the fact that they used a bunch of the suits that, of course, were friendly suits, but then plenty of enemy suits as well. But then that final
I
battle
mean, they
with
used the Man Roadies
yeah. Well, that's
and the
because
Hugos.
apparently everybody still had Man Roadies left over. It's like, how mass produced was that thing? Every
Very.
faction
That
had
was really
some.
weird that it kept showing up throughout the entire series for a while.
Yeah, it's like, oh look,
I'll be
another
right
Man
back,
Roadie.
guys.
Dan's gone. What do we do without him?
Ah,
Nope, he's
Okay.
still here.
He set his headset down.
no, he said he'll be right back.
Oh, I might have to leave soon actually because I'm getting very hungry. But
You're always hungry during a live stream.
well, we live streamed for like hours, and I'm used to eating like every half hour.
Yeah,
Well-
we are at an hour and 51 minutes now.
Are we really? Wow. Oh, I guess
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
We started
like
at
8:30.
5:40. Yeah, we started at 5:40 my time, and it's 7:30 now. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we always talk for a long time, but there's plenty to talk about because we haven't done a friggin' MS report in
For like
5
6 months.
Yeah, November 7th was our last one.
Was that before or after the Nerdcast?
That was right
was
after. I think it was like the next weekend after the Nerdcast.
Right.
Yeah, because the second Nerdcast hasn't happened.
I was about to say, when are you going to continue that?
When I have people who have time to be on it.
It was funny. I thought I'd look back at like the dates that we've done them before. So like the first one was May, and the next one was start of June, then like later on in June, then July had 2, one in August, one in September, one in October, one in November, or 2 in
And then-
November, then no more.
Yeah,
The
so we did,
weekly Gundam podcast.
or even monthly would have been fine. Between December we were all busy, and then just the beginning of this year has been crazy in and of itself. So the fact that we all managed to get together at this time on this day is impressive. But we had the most to talk about, and just all happened to have the freedom, whether it's because of thunderstorms that kept me from doing what I was going to be doing, or anything else. So. But I've made up for the Nerdcast with now trying to do the Shoki Builder Showcase, which is I've got 2 new episodes lined up really soon for some more builds.
The Heavy Earth one was actually really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just a slight teaser. There is a custom Julia that a guy did. Just a really fun paint job that I really liked, and then a really awesome custom Grays that a guy did. And this guy
Was that
does
guy you?
really no.
He's
I
just
could not build a
interviewing
Grays at this
himself.
level. No,
He's
I'm
like,
gonna
oh
sit here
yeah, I
and
know
talk-
a guy who made a really awesome custom Grays. It's like black and it has like ribs and it's like grasshoppery.
Well, no,
That's
what
awesome.
he did
Real
was
cool
he set
guy.
up 2 microphones, and he spoke in the one, then he would run to the other side of the table, speak into the other, and run back.
There you go.
And like
Have
put
a-
on a
have
little
a
fake
voice.
mustache when he gets to the other one.
Yes, because you can hear the mustache.
He rubs it on the mic.
There you go. No, it's just a slight voice changer on it. No, this is a really, really, really cool version, along with a really good diorama. This guy Thomas, he makes some really, really kick-ass dioramas. He did a really awesome grimoire that he showed me. He did a co-build with his brother. There was also a Graves, but it's really awesome weathering. And then the other one was, I think it was a Jesta. I could be wrong. There was a whole lot of really awesome suits or kits built for these last two competitions here in Texas, and I'm trying to compile all the pictures I can so that I can just throw that together as a fun little video to show off what people have done. But actually, that guy I interviewed before, Dustin, he did a really cool custom Psycho Gundam. That was a commission build for the store that was having the competition. It's pretty neat. It's a really nice recolor along with a few custom touches to it. Okay, they're having a nice discussion here in the live chat. Floros with paper. They're doing paper rock scissors with the different suits.
Oh, well,
So
I mean, Guji on Remake Full City is scissors.
Yep,
literally. Oh yeah. Okay, so what can we go here?
Oh, speaking of Floros, can I just say like how like totally pointless that suit was? I mean, it wasn't pointless completely, but it shot rocks and then it missed.
Yeah.
It did one thing well, and everything else.
Think about how long they tried to hide they tried to hype it up and not reveal, like, its transformation and everything.
Yeah, it does one thing well, and it fails at it both times it does it.
Well, when they came to save the turbines, at least it fought. We didn't really do anything memorable except for ride on the back of the long range booster, which was fun.
It just did the standard thing that almost anyone other than Mikazuki does in all the battles, because not 100% of the time, but most of the time, anyone other than Mikazuki fought, all they did was just kind of fly around and shoot guns at nothing.
Apparently, Dan's having technical issues.
Can someone confirm if you can actually attach a Sheen to the long distance booster?
I bet you could. I don't see why you could. Well, you wouldn't have the same knee plugs that you would need for the Ryusei Go, or the original Ryusei Go. Yeah.
I always kind of thought it'd be cool to get that one, but I never wanted to pay for like $50 it took for the high grade kit.
I saw it on sale for $35, and I didn't have the money, and I was mad. And Scuffles, right? Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. We all know what it is. If we don't, yes, go look it up. Is Dan back?
No, he said his microphone is acting up.
Oh, I thought I heard him for a second.
I guess the we heard at the ending wasn't him like slamming the mic down, but him unplugging it while maybe walking away.
He probably got up with his headphones still plugged in, which we've all done.
And just walked away.
Mine's wireless, so I walk around with him on some.
Yeah, pretty much here too. That's why sometimes my voice will get like quieter and then louder. Is I'll forget to carry the tablet with me, and I'll like walk away and then come back.
Yeah, see, I'm plugged in because I'm old school like that. You got unplugged when I put my headset back on. How did you? Anyways. All right, so Dan is going to finish his own podcast from within the live chat. So it's
I might have to go and eat some food.
Yeah, so it's just going to be me and Max just sitting here talking. Dan, go ahead and address the comments while you're in them.
I did want to mention one thing earlier when they were mentioning like, oh, what's your favorite designs or whatever from the series. I think like for me at least, like top two would be Grimgird and the Hugo.
Yes.
Which also I guess works as well that it splits them into two different series. So
yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, there you go. Scuffle saying The Walking Dead's in 26 minutes, so most people have to go.
Yeah, I gotta go eat now actually, so I'm just gonna drop out.
Bye, second.
Bye guys.
Bye, second. We'll miss you because you can't eat near the microphone apparently.
I mean, I could. I just don't think you'd want to hear that.
Well, just mute yourself while you're munching away. That's what I did. I was eating last night, but I just muted myself while doing it.
Well, I have to like go downstairs and like put food on a plate and bring it up and like eat it and not get food on the tablet, and it's long and tedious. So I'll just go downstairs and
get distracted. Put the food on the tablet.
See, I'm being.
I mean, it's shaped like a plate, kind of.
Hold on,
like a steak on the tablet, and you're cutting it with a knife.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm going back to the Nerdcast when you were making toast, and we could hear you spreading butter on it in the background.
I didn't even realize it would be that loud. The tablet was literally on the counter like 3 feet away from the toast. I did not expect it to be that loud.
I remember listening to it and I was like, what is that noise?
Yeah, it's like,
It was louder on the tablet than it was in real life.
Yeah.
It took you guys like 3-4 minutes to address it too, and I'm just sitting here the whole time like, how do they not hear that?
I was
It
hearing
sounded
it.
like
I just
someone
couldn't...
like pulling Velcro apart and sticking it back together repeatedly.
Yes, that's what it sounded like, and it's just you buttering toast. That was one of the better moments. That's why I like our live streams or just our recordings, whatever. It's just funny.
Including that one that actually I still think the best one we've done was probably the one that Max deleted.
Yes, I think there was like a lot of shouting and stuff at one point in it.
I got really mad about the High New Gundam.
Oh, nice. Hey, well, nothing beats me having to redo co-reviews with Dan because he doesn't record them.
So you know what? Well, Dan can't get into the podcast. I'm just going to say that the High New Gundam version they did first as a master trade and the high grade is the best version, and the Vercol looks terrible. On that note, Soundwave out.
He can, he can boot you still from the. Well, you're gonna go eat anyway, so here. Gundam Andros. Oh, what is it? The Gundam Dandelion.
That was a fake, actually.
Yeah, but the Gundam Dandelion that's coming up, that is IBO side story, right?
Yeah, because the Astaroth got smashed really bad by the wall, and they had to replace a bunch of stuff on it.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I haven't seen that. Well, I know there's still the new Astaroth.
Well, it really sucks right now. The side story. There was only like one guy translating the thing, and he got like 4 issues in, and he vanished from the internet completely. And as with most other Gundam manga, nobody wants to translate them for some reason.
Lazy. Yep. Let's see here. What else can we talk? Okay. How about
San Andros comment when I read Gundam Andros at first? I thought it said Gundam Andreas.
Yeah. How about this favorite character now that IBO's over?
I think Shino, I always liked him. He was just a fun guy, and I loved his voice actor and stuff.
He's your spirit animal. Put it on a shirt. Shino is my spirit animal.
Anytime he was like yelling and laughing and stuff, man, his voice actor's great, and just like the way he was in general, I liked him. And then his character pretty much died at the very ending. It's like, oh, not only is he dying, but he's going like depressed the moment of his death.
Nike says Biscuit. Biscuit was a good character, and he had some good development. But as soon as you got character development, he was dying.
Yeah, well, that's just the usual. Well, he had like a little bit before that, but like that episode was basically like immediately, oh no, Biscuit's dying in this episode because they're talking about his hopes and dreams.
Yeah, that's like the first time they really like hinted at this is the way this was gonna go. We should pick that up. Yeah.
I was saying my favorite thing about Biscuit was that moment when Vidar took his mask off and Biscuit was underneath.
That was amazing. See, that would have been funny if they waited for the reveal until April 1st and totally did that.
Was that Dan coming back, or did you like hit your mic or something?
That may have been me hitting my mic because I didn't hear it. Mic is right next to my beard, so it might be scruffing. Because I'm on one of those crappy headsets. I think I said it before. I'm pretty sure my favorite character is probably Naze. Just the turbines in general. I
know that's Dan's favorite.
Yeah, he's just one of the best brother-father characters. Hold on. Second once back in, he has his pizza. All you have to do is hit the call again. Just go back into the thing and just jump right back in. Dan doesn't have to do it. His favorite character is whatever he's eating because he can't bother to get away from the tablet.
Though,
dates. Give him some dates.
Dan sounded like he was going to close the chat or the stream down soonish anyway, since he can't get back in. Which time-wise, that probably also kind of works out too, because it's like, oh hey, it's 9ish, and I still need to eventually pack lunch and breakfast and all that crap.
Yeah, so I don't have to work tomorrow.
I'm amazed I actually unpacked for my trip this weekend. Usually it's like, oh, 3 days later I need to unpack my bags.
Yeah, last time when we went to San Antonio for like 3 days, we didn't unpack for 2 months. Everything was still, actually no, longer. That was in October. I didn't unpack that suitcase completely until February.
Suitcase of what?
Clothing and stuff.
Oh,
Like the stuff that we took on the trip, with the exception of the clothes that were dirty and stuff, was all still in the suitcase. So it stayed there for months because who's going to pick it up other than anyone. Second, who is your favorite character now that you're back and eating pizza?
favorite character in IBO? I mean, there were a lot of pretty good characters in it.
Dan, don't close the stream yet. We're still having a
Oh,
conversation.
actually, you know what? Actually, I remember now, McGillis. I actually really liked McGillis.
Yeah, once McGillis actually got his character development in the last few episodes, yeah, I liked him better once you found out why he was doing what he was doing.
I don't know, when he revealed that, I was like, oh, so here's McGillis's dark side.
Yeah.
I thought he was really interesting, even from like the latter part of season 1 onwards. Like as soon as he started working with Tekken, I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting, and I kind of was intrigued by his character from there on.
And Mikazuki made him so happy.
Yes.
I like when they're riding in that car and he's just like smiling happily at Mika the whole time. Mika's just like, what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep eating my Mars dates.
Dan, you are participating. Just because you can't talk. How did you kill your mic so significantly?
He said he put his headphones on and like unplugged it when he did that, and then it just won't work anymore.
You must have broken your plug or something. That's crazy.
It's probably just some weird thing where the computer doesn't want to like hook it back up to
Doesn't
Hangouts.
want to yeah.
Because I do know that like the YouTube streaming and Hangouts has like a weird thing with how it accepts that sometimes.
Yeah.
Like mine like almost permanently tells me I haven't given permission to my microphone yet. Clearly it does have permission because my voice is going over it.
Hold on to your butts. I'm about to try something stupid.
Oh God.
It's gonna like slam the pizza into the mic.
I'm gonna open the stream on the YouTube app so I can see the chat, and I'm hoping that the audio of it won't like play back and like blast a feedback loop at me.
Yeah, I had to mute the thing.
I don't. Yeah, mine's muted even though I'm on a headset. I just didn't want to hear myself echoing in my own ears. Yeah, don't pull a me and cause instant feedback. Live sound of music. That's hello.
I can hear my. It's actually really cool because I can hear myself like 30 seconds. I could hear it like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, why don't you mute the actual YouTube itself?
Yeah, I paused the video.
You can mute it.
And now I'm looking at the chat.
Yeah, don't have to yell over your own voice though. He's now yelling over him yelling. So we're gonna be here
I just
a while.
gradually gets louder and louder and louder as the stream catches up to me.
I have the loudest scream of Galaxy Canon ever.
Exactly. Dan, before you kill us all and make the chat go away, what was your favorite character? Was it just Naze?
I don't know if he's even listening to the audio almost, because he didn't really respond to much that was said.
He should be. Dan, listen to me.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's listening.
There's
also there is that delay there. So what was your favorite character in the whole series? Naze, very good.
Well, it's funny you ask him that.
Naze was cool.
Like that's his favorite.
Yeah. I think Hush. No, just kidding. Okay, so I know a lot of people in the chat said it, but did anybody else really give up their favorite characters? Chat, tell us who your favorite characters were. Quickly before Dan bans us all.
I do feel like Hush could have been a really good one if they actually had time for him.
I'm surprised he didn't die earlier on with the fact that we got his backstory immediately. It's like, we already know everything we need to know about you. Why aren't you dying faster? You should have just been fodder at this point. Okay.
Well, I think usual way that trope goes is they tell you about a character you've already met. So like, hey, I know this character's been around for 15 episodes, but now you need to care about them so that it hurts when we take them away.
Exactly.
Kind of like when what's his name died at the beginning of season 2. It's like, wow, he's literally put in here to die. Yeah, Aston.
Yeah, nobody cared about that guy. We didn't know who the heck he was.
Like that immediately was like they're going to kill him and they're trying to make us care about him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he even spoke before that arc.
I don't think he did. He just he looked angry.
He was just in the background until he showed up in second season as like the best friend ever of what's her face's name.
What's her face's name?
What is the name of her face?
Yeah. Okay, so we got Jetfire liked Mika. We got Rick who liked Rustall. Honestly, yeah, Rustall was a good character, even though we all hated him for the longest time. But then he turned around to just be the savior of humanity, apparently.
Well, I think that also kind of like was his own manipulation too. But also Dan says in the chat, he says, "I know I can't be heard, but thank you all for coming out to the stream. I'll do what I can to keep my mic from getting unplugged next time." Yes, super glue it.
Yes, I was about to say that. No, duct tape it, make it easier.
Super glue it, then duct tape it.
Yeah, maybe we should do
Plastic cement.
let's do all of the MS reports live.
That would be fun.
Actually, it's fun, but actually, it's good because we don't have to edit anything in.
Exactly. Less work for Max.
The or me, depending on who is editing, and have to sit there. Now we do
Weld it.
yeah, weld it in there. Actually, within the Hangouts with some of the add-ons, you can actually like pull up pictures and stuff if we ever set that up.
Really?
Yeah,
That
but
would be... Oh, you can do the screen share thing.
Yeah.
yes, yes. I saw that. Since I was trying to find a way for us to multi-stream it, so it would have been on all of our channels, which was not a way. I couldn't find the way to do it without using an API, and I honestly have no idea how to use that. So Hangouts was our only way to go with it. But yeah, you can hear him munching away. It is what it is. This is what it all inevitably boils down to. Dan's tired, wants to go to sleep, and second is eating something.
I'm eating pizza and it's very good.
Good for you. Well, I ate hot dogs earlier, right before the stream started.
And you were making turkey burgers last night while we were streaming, and we could hear you cooking them.
I know. It was a good stream. The mic is fine.
Everybody else is eating, and I was just having beer for the stream.
I started out with a beer. What did you drink? I had a decent.
It was a stout.
thing.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I had a good barrel-aged barley wine.
It was a Founders stout.
Ooh, Founders is good. That's in case you guys don't know, that's something Max and I share. We both love craft beer.
Nike
I'm
says
just going
hot
to sit
dogs
here nodding
equal
like I know
cancer.
what you guys are talking about.
Nike
You're not
says
a
hot
little
dogs
bit-
equal cancer. I guess it's the fear of all those nitrates.
I like nitrates. They taste good.
But Dan is thanking people for coming.
And Dan's saying goodbye without saying anything for us. You're gonna let us actually say goodbye, Dan, or are you just gonna cut?
He was saying like his thanks for all coming out stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, hold on. Let me read it. Anyways, though, thank you all for coming out. If you're a new squadron member, welcome and enjoy your time here. Did I sound like Dan at all? Did I imitate Dan at all?
One bit.
I'm in Texas. I can't do y'all's accent. All right, guys. So that's it for this MS report, and it's a thing that happened. Nitrate. Oh yes, actually, that sounds pretty cool.
Just shoots you in the liver and gives you cancer.
I made a whole list once of good Gundam names that were just like English words paired up with the word Gundam. I'll define it and read it off on a later episode of MS Report.
There you go. If you can find that. Just like we need to find any of Dan's old Gundam artwork if we could.
Yes. That would be an awesome. That would be the best episode of MS Report ever.
It was just a list.
Yeah. Texas Barbecue Gundam, yes. Now we're getting into G Gundam territory again. We're just going to play all the racial stereotypes. Yeehaw Gundam, there we go. All right, guys. So I guess we'll call that an end. Dan, is that good? Then we can all say goodbye here for a second.
I'm second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time.
Yes. Okay, go again, second, because...
Well, I need to finish chewing now.
MS Report Gundam.
MS Report Gundam. It would just be a cluster.
As always, I'm second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time.
And this is Shoki, reminding you as always, keep on nerding and keep on building.
Boring voiced Max duo, this time with beeping. Saying bye-bye.
More beeping. Battletoad Gundam, yes, there we go.